Hey everybody, Laura will be right back. I just decided to start now because we can. Let me know how audio is. All right, we're experimenting with a new setup here, so let me know how that is, how it sounds. There's Laura.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh,
I
cool.
didn't expect it to actually push the shot. I was just telling it to go live, and now it says we're live. So.
Well, good evening.
Yeah. So, hey everybody, we burned tonight. Yes, we do, sir. It's 1976. As again, let me know how the audio sounds. We're trying a different setup. Obviously, we have microphones right in front of our faces because we're trying to give you better audio because we're preparing to do more radio stuff than video stuff. So, and you might want to tilt that camera down just a little bit there.
Yeah, it's a little high, huh?
It is.
Now I can see it.
Hey, Marcus, how are you? You're burning hard in your house? That sounds good, Mr. Dent, 89. Hey, Dennis. It's pretty late over there for the Germans. We got at least 2 Germans watching today. So what's the news? What have you guys heard from Iowa? All we've heard so far is the
satellite caucuses. Bernie has been doing very well.
Right.
Very well. I heard one in Florida with a very senior contingent went for Amy Klobuchar earlier today, but that's the only one I've heard win besides Bernie.
Yeah. All right.
But then, things are happening fast. And the real caucusing doesn't start. So it's 5. So it's 7:30. So they're in there. The doors are locked, and they're doing their thing. So we should be hearing stuff if it goes. I mean, I've seen Dennis. Thank you for dropping that tweet. It just showed a picture of the grandstand so full of Bernie supporters that the Biden supporters had go somewhere else, go sit in the corner or something like that. So that's totally what we were expecting to see. So.
Right. So they're saying there's a little bit of an echo. I'm trying to adjust it out, and if you turn your gain down just a tad, it would probably help because it's picking up me a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll turn that down and try to get that adjusted.
I missed it. I can get closer.
Your gain can be off, all the way down to the left.
I did.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we'll get it figured out, everybody. We don't want any echo.
No echoes. How's that?
All right, so we were just adjusting things, and I see that I'm still getting picked up a little bit on Laura's mic, and we'll do our best to get that figured out, everybody. But really, we just want to talk about what's going on. I know there's a lot of other places you guys can be watching this. There's tons of independent media out there doing this now, and that's why we haven't really been doing a lot of broadcasts. Larry's been doing a lot of stuff, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. If you're not familiar with what he's got going on, Parliamentary Talk. This is going to happen on February 6th. I fly in to Portland on the 5th, and then this is a production happening at CCTV Salem, and it is about parliamentary procedure, and Larry and Carrie are going to discuss the finer points of how to work with the Robert's Rules of Order, and so it's I'm very excited. I really thank everybody for being involved with that and getting it going. This doesn't stop with Bernie, right? This doesn't stop with the primary. This doesn't stop with Iowa or the next one or the next one. We have to.
It gets more focused.
Yes.
Is what it does.
Yes.
We will be the squad. We will be the squad, really, not just the new people that are elected, but us, because we're part of his army, really. So.
We have to elect Shahid Buttar. You guys familiar with Shahid? We have to get him going in he's doing amazing out here in CD12. I'm volunteering for his campaign, and I know some inside info, and I can't share some exact info, but I can say he's doing really well.
Yeah.
He's got some stuff going on. The next FEC reports are going to blow your minds.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. And he's just picked up some huge yeah, you know what, Brian Smith, I want to say that. Hi, everybody. Yes, it begins.
Yes, it begins.
I'm so out of practice with this shit. Earlier today, we were talking about did we do the last Iowa primary? And
yeah.
Yes, we did. It was on this channel, which used to be.
I just
Bernie.
dropped the link.
Oh, did you just drop it in there?
I just dropped
so
the link in chat. I'll do it again in case you missed it. But this is John on February 1st, 2016. covering the Iowa caucuses. And how many people? 36,000
It's 36,000 views.
views.
We were a little more popular back then. There was less competition.
Yeah, that was back before YouTube,
Yeah.
hit the throttle. So
That's right. We got 39 people here today.
hey,
That's you.
39 whole people.
Hey, all of you.
I know.
From 36,000 to 39, but that's okay because independent media is all the way out there, and this is our family.
Yeah.
That is staying. So,
Yeah.
hi family.
So we're sorry for not being around. We've gotten some plaintive notes, and it has just been a time. And between moving, new job, holidays, and all that, we knew that things would heat up in January, and it totally has.
Yeah.
We are volunteering not only for Shahid, but also working with the San Mateo Bernie-crats, because we moved to San Mateo County, California, which luckily it's the very northern boundary of Rishi Kumar, who we interviewed back in August.
Yes.
He's still our congressional representative, just we moved from one end to the other. So we're doing a little bit more ground game than we have been accustomed to doing, and it's good for the soul, I think. And we've been, of course, interviewing all the caucusers that we meet, and been the data team that compiles all their stuff, which is being done out of the office where we work during the week, because our awesome boss is a burner. And,
there you go.
And is totally great with all that. And he let Alex, if you're watching, and he let us go a little early today so we could prepare for the show, and he totally understood why it was important. So
Yeah, appreciate that.
thank you, Alex, for all you do.
I'm trying to pull up a shot just so you know. We're looking for new information here. So if you guys have links to new information or any new stats from closed caucuses, this is the latest from where are we at? CBS News, and this is just some of their posted updates here. Caucus doors close as first in the nation contest officially begins. Blah 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 blah. And then here we got.
That was about half an hour ago.
Oh well, it says 6 minutes ago. I thought I hit update on this.
When he wrote it. I mean,
when he wrote it, yeah. Majority of Iowa caucus goers want a candidate who can beat Trump rather than one who agrees with them.
Yeah.
But I thought this was interesting. Their little poll here: healthcare, the most important; climate change, second most important. Really, these need to be reversed because you can't have healthcare without a planet. But I'm not going to get picky there. Just whatevs. Okay. Just glad
both
people
would be
are-
awesome. I begrudge neither.
Yeah. This I find, interesting. Good numbers there. 68-32. I don't know what to say about that, but we've talked to, I think we've met a lot more people now that have been involved in previous, democracy efforts, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, this one has been. I mean, the Bernie's ground game in Iowa this time was spectacular.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I know. How many of you, just polling everybody out there, how many of you in the audience know somebody that went to Iowa or another heavy caucus state or important state that just left their state to go do this for Bernie?
Yeah.
Right. I know several people. Laura
I've got
knows
a
several
couple
people.
solid Facebook friends. One is the Chalk Star, and if you guys haven't seen, follow him on Instagram, Chalk Bernie to me. But he's Christopher Helen. He is a member of the Santa Cruz Bernie-crats.
Yeah.
And I had met him last spring when I went to go visit my local Bernie organization right after he announced. And he has been doing these beautiful rainbow chalks of Bernie's name. He did all over California. Then he went to Nevada, and then he's been fundraising, and people have sent him to. He went to the Progressive Guild.
Progressive Alliance.
Yeah, Progressive Alliance
They
convention
had a
that they
convention. There you
had
go.
a few weeks ago, and he got a lot of attention there. Now he's getting global press. He chalked an area where Bernie was going to be arriving later for a rally, and then just stood there, and like the international press is all getting set up, waiting for Bernie to arrive, and he's just standing there, and it's like, he's getting this beautiful image of Bernie's name out everywhere. And if you've seen it, done really nice, that's him. And he just goes to Walmart and just buys out all of their chalk, the big sidewalk chalk. And it's wonderful. It's a grassroots effort, and I've been following along, and I've been helping him. And we all think he should go to South Carolina next, because that's the only one of the first four that we have much doubt about.
Right. Some information here from David Sirota. And hi, everybody. It's good to see everybody there. It's nice to see Katie, you're up too. My goodness. Jilly Love, hi. Mm-hmm. Hey, Al M. Density. Hey, Density, did you send us the what book did we get?
Is the book. he'll
The
know.
Buddhist book?
Yes.
The Buddha book? Did you send out? Somebody sent us the Buddha book. Thank you,
Yes.
whoever that was. We get gifts. Yeah, I haven't sent out our address to too many people. We moved.
Yeah.
By the way, we're living in La Honda, if you don't know that now. But take a look at this chart from David Sirota. Iowa is a general election swing state. It says the latest ARG poll shows Bernie Sanders doing by far the best among independent swing voters. And you can see Sanders at 20% there. Was it Biden there at 18? Bennett doesn't even have, it's just no numbers. Warren at 17, right? So I find that very interesting. So some good stats there. Anybody see anything else? Yes. Oh, density. We did hear about the app, app issues. Is that still going on? Do we know if they're unable? Obviously, they've closed doors on at least one caucus. So.
Well, all the doors closed.
Oh, they're done? They're done?
Yeah, they have. Well,
Damn.
no, they closed the doors so that they can.
Oh,
start
on the
caucus.
inside, right?
Yeah,
right,
so
right,
they're all
okay.
locked in.
It's like a conclave,
Yeah.
right? The Pope thing. That's right.
They're waiting for the smoke to rise or something like that.
For the weed bowl to be lit. It was Bernie. Yeah. Bernie blowout. That's right, Julie Love. Smoke.
Perfect.
That's right.
That's perfect.
What else do we got to look at here? We've got slides. We've got slides. So if you guys
the
know
app.
anything
We were
else.
talking about the app.
Oh, we were talking about the app.
Yeah, well, I guess the DNC came up with their own app that they're going to be, that they want everybody to use to report the results.
So that'll help
Only-
them rig the results.
Only they're having lots of problems with their app. But luckily, the Bernie app records all this stuff. And so the Bernie team will have actually verifiable, pristine results
Yes.
in their app, which I'm sure they will share
Yes.
with everyone.
Speaking of Bernie apps and stuff and the
Yeah.
canvassing, we've been twice now. We have gone to work on a Sunday to help with the canvassing efforts in San Mateo, and that's been really cool. There's been at least 10 people there each time. Just a complete, amazingly diverse group of folks. Includes every minority or outlier group that you would expect a political candidate to have.
Coalition.
Rainbow freaking coalition. Yeah. And they're organized. It is extremely organized. I'm learning how to be a backup data captain to Bennett and Mia. You don't get a cape or
I
anything.
have to call you captain. Get you a little hat.
I want a captain. Yeah, it makes me feel good. They're kicking serious ass. I mean, they went out yesterday was Super Bowl Sunday, and they went out early before Super Bowl starts and all the bullshit. Of course, we're in a place where people might actually care about Super Bowl a little more than others because
Yeah.
of San Francisco.
Sorry, Niners.
Yeah, sorry. But Bernie's going to win.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's better. Anyway, they amazing. They knocking on so many doors. I had some stats that I posted earlier. If you're not aware, this is unofficial, but this was mentioned on a public call to canvassers in the California state. 100,000 doors have been knocked on so far for Bernie Sanders. 20,000 doors knocked on. Was it last week? In the Bay Area alone, 1,700 doors knocked on last weekend in the peninsula alone. That's just
where we are.
California.
Yeah.
That's happening all across the country.
Yeah,
This
that primary is a month away.
yeah.
A month
Yeah.
from today. A month from today, the election could be over. Do you know how many states primary on the first Super Tuesday? It's like mostly all of them.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and if Bernie does what we think he'll do, I mean, he could have it wrapped up
Yes.
by then.
Yes.
Oh, it is so much nicer not to have to wait until June for the California primary. They so thought that they were screwing Bernie by doing that, and they just so made our lives so much easier.
They did, and the first Super Tuesday is huge. You named the states. It's just so many states.
Yeah, Illinois, Texas.
Can you name
Florida.
them all? It's
I can't.
ridiculous.
I know I should have it up. I should be like really organized in all, Anna Kasparian, but I'm not.
Right.
I'm not even Namiki.
So we got questions, and I don't know the answers. Tracy Navarro wants to know, is Bernie ahead in Iowa? He's ahead in all the polls. We haven't seen any
It's
results.
the caucus. The caucus is going on right now.
Yeah, so we're
So
going to
multiple
find out.
caucus places, and all the supporters for each candidate go in until they have a majority of one.
And I got a couple feeds that we're running here, and we've dropped the links into the chat. This is where this is at King's Elementary School in Des Moines. All right, this is Now This has been streaming this for us. Really want to thank Now This for that. And we're just looking at a couple, just Washington Post to see what they have to say. And
There's a Caucus for
New York
Bernie,
Times.
the Bernie Sanders Caucus Night watch party, but it has not gone live yet. It has quite a few people waiting.
Right,
Oh my
right.
goodness.
I have that. Yeah,
I like our chat so much better. Okay,
their
speaking
chat's
of which-
flying though. That's you
Yeah.
see that down there, guys. That's the Bernie. That's
made
the
me-
Sanders official.
It made me queasy watching that. It was like, oh my God, I'm so
Our
glad.
chat used to fly like that.
Did
Back in
it?
the old days, our chat whole 4 years ago.
Back when we had all our chat moderators scheduled.
Oh my God, we had a machine running. We had a machine running to cover Bernie, and now Bernie's got a machine in the progressive movement, and it's
So
amazing.
we don't have to. It's so nice.
Yeah.
And we can still have our chat with our people that we've been talking to all this time.
He's way ahead. We're getting Jilly Love says yes, Tracy, way ahead pre-caucus.
Yeah.
So yeah, we know it. Even Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews is really upset, apparently. So everybody should go on Twitter and just give him some hugs.
He's seriously about to body slam someone about
Yeah,
this. It's
yeah.
very sad.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah.
He
They
just
pulled
needs
out all
hugs.
the anti-Bernie stops today.
But he
I
says
heard.
Bernie's
I don't
going to win.
watch this stuff.
He's pretty sure Bernie's going to do real damn well.
Oh yeah.
Right. Biden's going to tell you to vote for somebody else. That seems to be his. And hand you a pamphlet. Vote for somebody else and read this. Get off my lawn.
Biden isn't even hitting the top 5 in some of the results
No.
I've seen.
No.
So-
Did you see the latest campaign, though? The beepers for Biden? And the
No, beepers from Biden was me.
I know that was you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling it. But where did it start from?
It started with just the whole dial-up thing. Is like, you know, the Biden asking his supporters to stick up for him on social media.
Ah,
And so then like everybody, the whole thing was everybody's hitting their dial-ups. And,
Right,
you know,
right.
Firing up their modems. And so that's what I came up for beepers for Biden.
right. Biden's voters,
beepers.
anybody over 60 or maybe 70 at this point, keeps closing, keeps losing that. And Bernie keeps closing the gap there. My father, if you guys don't know, my dad, 78, and has had some confusion over this year as to who he was going to support. And finally, he and all of the people in his group, oh, thank you, Jan. Wow, been a long time no see.
Ah.
Hey, Jan. $15 from Jan at Super Chat, which is functional on this channel, so
Ooh,
please.
we should probably mention that.
Super Chat's functional, and we're trying to raise a lot of money to start a radio station. We don't need that much money, but it's
Yeah.
a lot of money to us. We need like 10 grand to do this radio station, Cork FM, which is something else we'll talk about in a minute. But Jan, thank you. She says, hey, John and Laura, Joy, and Christy watching your coverage tonight. Go uphill and Bernie. Thank you so
Yay.
much.
Yay,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
guys.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's what the little dollar sign is. So that is what, in case you don't know what Super Chat is, this is what a lot of the, like Jordan Cheriton, man, he'll tell you every 2 seconds to hit that Super Chat. That's
Hit
the way
that
that you
Super
can do
Chat.
a quick donation. And,
Yes.
and sometimes some people only read the Super Chat comments, but we are much more democratic than that because we have far fewer comments.
Yes.
But they're all good. Very,
We got a
very
great-
few of them
yeah.
are all emojis.
We watched Jordan the other day. Why did we watch him? Interviewing Shahid, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Shahid did a great interview, and boy, yeah, does he ring that bell.
Yeah.
So hit up that Super Chat. Again and again. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he's
Yeah.
gotten
Well,
really
it's his-
rough in season. It's very interesting, but I'm glad he's doing what he's doing. He's done a ton of work. He was down in Flint when everybody else had pretty much forgotten about it.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
The stars have risen. He and
yeah.
Nomiki and Crystal Ball, and so it's like they got that slick stuff covered. We're just, chatting with the fam
That's right.
and
That's
doing
right.
this it's just because we like doing it.
That's right. This shot right here is the first caucus. That's the 14 for Bernie's and the one for Warren there.
Aw.
And they all knew each other, so they weren't like unfriendly with each other. They were all friends.
Yeah.
All right.
Put it up. Can you put it the whole screen?
It is on the whole screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
I'm looking at the delay. There it is. Sorry.
We've got a new setup here. She's got a little screen over
I
here.
know. I'm
It's
supposed to be
crazy.
minding that. I was minding the live feed. Yeah, the one gal on the right there stands alone, and she was the precinct captain. She was the Warren staffer who was there. So it would not have been seemly for her to join the Bernie side.
Nah. She
But
probably
but
secretly
Warren was not viable with only one representative. So, and there's some debate. Is it poultry? Is it pork? I can't, I've seen both.
It was an industrial farm,
It was an
right?
industrial food preparation crew that normally works during caucus hours. So
Hey, IZ Mark, we got, is that Grants Pass, Oregon, for Bernie? Is that what you're representing?
yay.
Cirrus 1976, thank you for your $2 there. I
Thank
support
you.
Air Progressives.
There we go.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Ad
That's
hoc.
very nice.
Ooh, we got
That's
a
very
really
nice.
nice sunset, honey.
Do we?
Yeah.
We're, by the way, due to a very generous donation from the Phil and Judy Live and Good Foundation, our parents, we
His
got
50th birthday.
yeah, I turned 50, but they
On
turned
Friday.
older too.
Yes.
Like,
It's my dad's birthday tomorrow. We're going to celebrate that with a Bernie win.
They right. That's
Yes.
right.
My
He's-
mom and my
he's-
dad, our birthdays are a week apart, and John's is right in between. So he's, yeah.
And they're also not quite there on the Bernie train. So
No.
we're hoping they're gonna, they're not Trump or anything. They're just,
Yeah.
just-
No, but they,
Yeah.
I suspect Warren or Biden. I know.
Why is my dad was the same? So either Warren or Biden. This was before he got his shit together. My dad. I'm like, how can you even put those two together?
Well, they watched
mean-
Rachel. Who does Rachel support? I haven't heard Rachel's voice much.
I don't know. I
Do-
think
is
she's
she-
done. She's done after the Russia shit.
Is she?
I think so. Isn't she
I
gone?
don't know. I think
don't
she's
know.
still alive and kicking. We're just fortunate that she does not cross our path.
Terry Brooks, should caucuses be replaced with primary? That's a wonderful question. We used to talk about that a lot. And there's a lot of people that think yes, just because it's a lot more efficient and gets the shit done. However, caucuses are good for grassroots movements.
Yes.
Hillary doesn't like them. The DNC doesn't like them. And for that reason alone, I say we caucus the fuck out of this country.
You put every single person in a town who's willing to get out there for Bernie Sanders together in a room together with a bunch of other people.
Yes. That's right.
That's
right.
there you go. Especially in small towns. Oh my gosh.
That's right.
It's a powerful optic. So I will tell you after this election cycle what I think of caucuses. But right now I love them.
I mean, I'm for doing it fast. I'm for having this entire circus cut down to about 6 weeks. That's what they do in Germany.
God.
6
Wouldn't
weeks,
that
you're
be
done.
nice?
Boom. Everybody gets the same amount of airtime. Everybody gets the same amount of bullshit time. Everybody gets to state their case. Everybody gets a debate or what. I don't even know, Marcus. You tell them maybe they don't even get a debate. Maybe they just fill out a form. It's very orderly in Germany, and then they're done. They elect new people and done. The only country it's this much bullshit for this long is us, and it's only this way so that mainstream media can sell advertising. That's really the only reason it is.
money.
And you
Yes.
can thank Bill and Hillary Clinton for making that possible due to the 1996 Telecom Act, because that's when the doors were opened for cable to run our fucking political speech. So that's kind of what happened. And pardon me if cussing, I realize it, but geez, I feel like I'm not supposed to do that anymore. Like we're all grown up now. I'm 50. I can't say the F word. I got to change to like, dang nabbit.
Get off my
Darned.
lawn.
I'm 50, not 90.
Yeah.
That gives room for your dad.
Yeah.
You gotta give him some room. Her dad's like probably in better shape than I am physically. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Tracy? Okay, good. I know. I wish we were already there, but oh, you want to come here? By the way, you guys know Marcus is coming to visit. Marcus, Dennis, and Marcus's girlfriend Erica are coming out to visit us.
Yeah.
When we have our ceremony, our solstice. Yes. It's the 20th, 21st. We're getting married for officials. Soon, if I can clear it with the IRS, then
You just announced it just like that. Well, I guess that's actually good. This is
we've mentioned
this
this
is
before.
part of not the getting married part.
So because we're getting married, you really should hit that super chat. And I can't do it. I just can't do it.
You're pimping it out, dude.
I can't do it.
Okay.
I can't just no.
No.
Sorry. Anyway, what were we talking about?
That they're coming out for the wedding.
That's right. Marcus is coming out. Dennis is coming out. Marcus' girlfriend Erica is coming out, and they're going to stay here varying lengths of time. Marcus is going to try to stay here for a long time, maybe find employment and help us with the revolution. Dennis is coming out for about 3 weeks.
He's going to help us build our vegetable garden.
Yeah, we're going to build our apocalypse
Marcus,
garden.
Did you know that?
We got a lot of work for you, Marcus. Manual labor. I don't know what else you're skilled for. German stuff. It's not like over there where you can just go get a job. I mean, we got problems over here. But thanks, Density. Appreciate it. Yes, Jan. You haven't been around. This has been hinting on. You'll have to go back and watch some previous shows to catch the hints and the story. I need to just check. 57. Hey, 57. Hi, everybody.
So John and I are in California together. For those of you who may not have tuned in the last few months.
Right. Hey, Milo's stuck
hold
outside.
on. I will. No, he's barking at the cat.
Oh, right. Milo's here. Yeah, you guys remember. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. 4 years later, and I'm back and happy to be with you all tonight. Yeah, hey, Tim. I knew this was going to be kind of a reunion of a lot of folks. And that was what way back to what I actually started to say, because I've lost place. I've squirreled numerous times here. I just realized this before we went live.
What?
That we've waited 4 years, and here we are.
Yeah.
It starts.
And no Hillary.
No Hillary?
No Hillary. A bunch of idiots.
The same divisiveness, the same problems with the
They're
DNC.
They're all wrangling over.
And Hillary's still there because she's apparently going to try to weasel her ass into the VP role, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Bernie wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have it.
How would you feel if you had Hillary Clinton as your vice president? How long do you really think you would live?
I don't know. Hey, Kamora, is it Amy? Ami? Cool name.
Amy.
Thank you for your $2.
Thank you.
Asking works. Good show. Yes.
It does. You don't ask,
Yes.
you don't get, as my grandmother used to say.
Very true. Very true.
But we're really bad at asking.
Read our minds. We need money.
Yes.
No. So let me
But
tell you.
it's not sustenance now. We got a good project. We need maybe
That's
talk
true.
about. We're still waiting for Bernie. Talk about Cork a little bit. Tell them about that.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about Cork, but I just want to make sure we don't have any updates. Anybody hear any new news? Let me take a look and make sure we're not missing any important stuff that's gone on here, because we're just talking about our crap here and what we're doing. But I want to make sure we don't have any important updates.
I'm checking the Iowa Caucus Twitter.
All right. Just give us a second. Important. We're reaching out to our sources on the internet to find out if there's any new information. And well, apparently Warren made a surprise stop at a caucus site, and as opposed to her dog, who she had sent out to canvass for her.
Are they allowed to
one
go to
point.
the caucus sites?
I don't know.
I know they're not supposed to go to polling places. Maybe caucuses are different.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she kept her distance. I don't know.
Oh no.
No, she's in there. She's in the room. I guess she can go in there. So hey.
So this is good. This is good.
He's talked
At
close.
one Des Moines precinct tonight, an attendee brought in a concealed bottle of wine, dropped it, and it shattered everywhere.
Oh,
It
whoops.
was like on a basketball,
Yikes.
gymnasium floor. Can you imagine
No,
the shards?
that's bad.
That's bad. That's funny though.
I know we've got this echo. I can see that we've got a little echo bouncing back and forth between our microphones. I'll figure out if I can do something better with that next time around, guys.
I
Sorry
wonder
about
if
that.
we talk closer, if that would help.
Yes, we have to talk really close. Jimmy Dore is literally like this on his microphone, so we have to do that.
So tell us, does this work better?
Well, I still got to adjust the back and forth, but I can't stand Warren either. I thought Warren was going to be halfway cool, but I guarantee you if Scott were alive today, he'd be
He'd cringe.
pissed off at her for backing out on her promises, right? So everybody remember that Scott Galindez died because he had health insurance. It just wasn't good enough. It was health insurance for the poors. And so Scott didn't do real well with that, and he was killed by basically DeVita Corporation. Bernie is killing it in Iowa. Stock Post, how you doing? Yeah. Echo isn't so bad. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. We'll work on it.
Wait, where's the 20? Someone donated 20?
Really?
Oh, density.
Density. Oh, thank you.
This one's for you, Scott.
Yeah, thank you.
I was just thinking of him today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just
He
kind of
was-
going through the chronology after, through that whole primary, and he was there for the returns when he wasn't. For Iowa, he was in person, wasn't
Yes.
he?
Yes. For Iowa, he was there. I mean, he lived in Des Moines.
He
Scott
went
lived in Des
there.
Moines. Yeah.
That's right. That's why he went to live in
He moved himself to Des Moines, Iowa, to cover Bernie, basically to cover the campaign, and had his health not gotten where it was, I think he had planned on doing a lot more traveling, going along with the campaign, working for reader-supported news, and then he ended up doing a lot. Just he donated so much time to
Well,
us.
he delayed going on dialysis.
He did.
To see
did.
Bernie through the convention.
But it was also because he wasn't offered a new kidney. Right?
Yeah.
He was supposed to just be given new organs, and had he been rich, I'm sure he would have had a new organ in a heartbeat. No pun intended.
Well,
He didn't need one of those.
I think, though,
Thank
part,
you,
of,
Lisa D.
part of it was that he delayed his dialysis so long that
That's part of
yeah.
it, but still, he was dicked around. They didn't pay the bills, which was another thing. So thank you, congratulations on our engagement,
Oh,
for Lisa.
thank
Let's stop talking about Scott, because that was in the past, and we're moving forward, and I don't want to talk sad stuff.
Yeah.
Because
No,
Bernie's
but
going to
we
win.
honor him because he would have loved to see what is happening now.
He would.
Bernie.
He would have been he would have been thrilled. Scott would have been amazed.
Yeah.
He probably would have been in Iowa,
Yeah. Oh,
and
God,
he
yeah.
would have been caucusing. He would definitely. He would have been very happy with this.
Yeah.
Very happy.
So yay, Scott.
Yay, Scott. Any other results? I
Stock
guess
post.
not.
How many of you saw the Killer Mike ad? Love it. We've got it. I think we've got it teed up. Amazing.
I do have it teed up. We could
Let's watch that.
watch through some stuff
That's really
here.
cool. I like it.
17 minutes ago, I'm sure this. Hang on. So it's come down to Biden, Sanders, Buttigieg, and Warren, the four that they think is gonna.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
names are one thing.
names are one thing.
Percentages are another.
They're running out of voter registration forms, says somebody here. A message there.
Really?
Interesting. Yeah, just looking at some of the updates. I suppose I could put it on screen. Though it's really not that. There. Anyway, if you see new information, let us know. Oh, thanks, Schultze. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, and I agree. Snakes are sleazy. I'm going to stay away from that. I've called out a lot of names on a lot of centrists lately, but I'm going to stay away from Warren. Milo's barking. He's excited about something over there.
Milo, what?
Dave and his buds, you think it'll be Warren versus Sanders? That would be, and that's probably the two that it'll come down to, although Biden seems to be extremely popular still, but I don't know how much of that is just BS and how much is actual, like, Biden. I don't know how you could support that guy. I just don't. You'd have to really be very disconnected from things to support him. Tim, you can barely hear me? My audio's cranking, my friend.
I think he wants to go out.
All right, let him out. We're gonna let Milo out, guys. Give me a second here. I'm gonna run some media. I did have some media here. I've got to pull up the Killer Mike video. Except I don't have it. Hang on a second, guys. I gotta pull it up. Good to see you. Good to see everybody here. So what we're doing really, we don't have like that much of a show planned, I'll be honest. We're just going to sit around and wait for results. And in between results, we're going to talk and run videos like we used to in the old days. Yeah, if there was a problem, if there are echoes, you hear other problems with the audio. We're trying a different setup now because Laura and I are here in the same room. We didn't used to be in the same room, and we're not using the same Zoom conferencing that we used to do. And good, I'm glad you can hear me now, Tim. But when they talk, so who's talking? Do we have audio coming through? Because there shouldn't be any other audio coming through. Unless you're talking about Laura. We might drown each other out, signaling wise. Hey, Oz. Do you want me to chew? Well, this is about as chewing as I can get. This is right up in there. Right? This is as close as it gets. Let's talk a little bit about Cork Radio. All right? And why I'm really excited about this. So Cork Radio, if you go to GoFundMe.com, and just search for Cork FM, or it's GoFundMe /F/Cork FM is apparently the URL. Let me explain what this is. This low power FM signal. Okay, and low power FM means a couple things. One, it's meant for nonprofit educational use. So we can use it to teach civics. We can use it to broadcast political speech. We can use it to do any kind of educational thing, any kind of nonprofit thing. We can't use it like a commercial station. We can't run advertisements, right? We can't play commercials, which is great. We don't want to do any of those things anyway. But that also means that we need it to be fully user supported. So we have to, constantly ask people to hit the super chat, everybody, right? That's basically what it means. Why do we care about getting a low power FM radio station? Who cares about FM radio these days? I mean, it's FM radio. And Milo's at the door again already. So the reason we care about FM radio is because we need to reach rural areas, and these low power FM stations were placed around the country in rural areas. And these licenses are new. They were handed out in 2013 by the FCC. And so a whole bunch of organizations gobbled them up, and it's very rare to get a license, to have a license. Now, we wouldn't have had any opportunity to do this at all, but we were contacted by Alan Bouchon, who is the director, the CEO at CCTV Television in Salem. All right. And he was contacted by Mike Wassenaar on this. So, like, all the connections that we've known for several years here in independent media kind of had a play on this.
Life is funny that way.
Yeah, if you could say the universe was like, you guys need a radio station, here it is, now you need to do what you need to make it happen. That's basically what the universe said. All right.
The universe has been telling us to do a lot of crazy things.
The fact that, yeah. So Laura and I are both gainfully employed at the same place by a super progressive who supports what we do. That's insane. Mm-hmm. And the radio station is just the latest piece of this for us. So so let me explain what we can do with this. And thank you so much, Brian Smith, for $20. Really appreciate that. That's going to help us a lot. Low power FM stations are located in rural areas. They do not have to pay really expensive licensing fees, unlike most commercial entities. So if you're a big commercial station, or if you're a 100,000 watt FM station, even if you're nonprofit-ish, if you're like PBS or OPB or whatever, and you're operating on FM station, your licensing fees are really expensive. All right, and that's because you can reach a really big area, right? However, low power FM, we can reach maybe a 10-mile radius around where this antenna is going to be. This antenna is going to be in Corvallis, Oregon, so it hits Oregon State University, which is a college campus and a hotbed for politics, because outside of Corvallis and Albany, it becomes very red. And so we have a little tiny pocket of progressivism surrounded by a giant amount of redness, and we can reach that area because we're not limited to what we can play online anymore. The streaming rights that we pay for, the rights that we pay for to broadcast political speech as an FCC licensed station, their fees are less than $2,000 a year to play all the content we want to play. Any political speech, any music. So no more problems with YouTube shutting us down in the middle of a broadcast. If we want to blast Led Zeppelin, we can blast Led Zeppelin. All right? Whatever frickin' songs we want.
We could do a Led Zeppelin tribute.
Yes, we can. To Bernie Sanders and Led Zeppelin, because we would tie it into politics.
10, yes. We could do whatever we want. It's like, for those of you who are older like we, you remember the heyday of FM radio, especially in the early 70s when it was kind of an underground thing, and not a lot of commercials, and it had deep album cuts and stone DJs, and so we're going back to its roots.
Trying to take it back to that. So in the same sense, a couple of the things. The station will be able to broadcast its content online. We're going to build an amazing website. I'm already in the process of doing that. I've also paid for the ability to stream our content, both video and audio, to our website. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna just avoid YouTube. We're gonna build a nice chat into the website. It should be connected probably through Discord. You can probably sign in through social media, so we'll make that easy as possible. But then we can play whatever we want.
And we can borrow programming from a
Uncensored.
whole network of similar independent stations
Yes.
all over the West Coast.
We can stream Democracy Now!, right? They give us the rights to do that for free, even though we could pay for it after that. And it's like, whatever, doesn't cost much. Still less than $2,000 a year to play anything we want as an educational station. But there's more. That also gets connected with a bunch of other stations.
Yeah.
So we're going to be part of a network of other nonprofit stations that have access to our content and can say, hey, we're going to grab your latest Bernie rally or that podcast where you just interviewed Shahid Buttar, or we're going to grab all those that podcast where you talk to the canvassers, right? And they can take our political content and redistribute it out to other rural FM stations. And this means we reach people in those red areas as they're driving to work, as they're going to the store, as they're sitting at home cooking dinner or whatever the hell they're doing, listening to their radio. We have an opportunity to reach them on these stations if we can build a community around ours.
And reverse engineering it, we can start the station immediately with a hodgepodge of content from multiple sources,
Right.
literally start it up and have it be going probably 24/7, whatever we wanted. And then as we have new programming to put in, we dovetail that in.
Right.
Or we can play existing content that we've got as podcasts.
Yes.
With the video accompaniment if you're watching it live stream. So there's all kinds of goodness with all the thousands of hours of content, the interviews, that we have at our disposal. It's crazy.
Well, and yeah, so there's old content, there's injecting new content. The opportunity here is more than just censorship, though, because we're looking at the fact that the internet is a bubble. The internet is becoming more and more censored. We do not have the ability to buy local television stations yet, Sinclair stations. This is the next best thing that we can do, because it's control of our own FM band, it's control of the rights to broadcast what we want, and it separates us from the Walmart of political content that is out there on the web.
Right.
And that's not to say that we don't, obviously all that content is needed, but our purpose is to reach rural areas, is to reach the disconnected areas of Oregon, California, and Washington specifically on the West Coast, to reach those areas and try to bring them civics, bring them into discussion, talk about things. How are we going to deal with the climate crisis together, right? So that's kind of what we're focused on right now is getting this going. The station itself is even though it's a low-tech medium, right? FM radio. The station itself has already been built. It's already been run. The whole thing is automated. It's literally a Mac Mini. It's a Mac Mini with about 4 other hardware pieces of gear. It's got a massive hard drive. Most mainstream media stations, rock and roll, if you're listening to any kind of mainstream media radio station you listen to, has a playlist of maybe 800 songs. All right. And you know this because you listen to the station, you're like, shit, they've played the same song or over, and it's a rotation, right? And that's why we all went to streaming services. But even the streaming services, you start hearing the same stuff over and over and over again. We have an 8,000 song library on the station already. Once we can acquire the license, that's a whole other story. We've been gifted the license. We need to pay for the station gear that was already built by Open Sky Radio. They're the partners we want to work with. They've already done this with other nonprofit organizations. They've set up radio stations across the country. They're an amazing group of people. They have the same goals as we do. They're progressive. It's just that they know how to build these stations. We have the opportunity to run one. The license is currently held by Veterans for Peace, but they were unable to get things going, and they may lose the license if they can't get a station running. So we've kind of been gifted this opportunity to step in, take the license, build the station, and then we could bring Veterans for Peace right back in and say, what kind of programming did you want to do? Let's work with you to do a show, because we've funded this, all right? And we've funded other things before that have cost this kind of money. So I'm hoping that with your guys' help, we can get this going and get it launched, because it'll be fun. And it'll be the perfect injection of civics and political speech mixed with good DJ and music and other talk and what we've always wanted to have those of you who know me that have followed this channel for a while know that I have wanted to be a yacht rock DJ for a long time. And now I will get to that opportunity. That's all that really matters here. It's just personal goals.
Yeah, and some of our first bonding conversations were about, fantasy musicals that we would do, or introducing each other to our favorite artists.
That's right. That's right.
We decided that if we only have a few years left, at least part of it has got to be devoted to music. And if we can have communications of a radio station, we're going to have a weather cam up, because we live on the top of a hill. I've got an amazing view.
Right.
And so we're going to have a whole kind of, a post-apocalyptic, if you want to know what's going on, come to Uphill House. And it just, it gives us purpose. And seriously, I've had some strong apocalypse, scenario flashes lately, because we have the fog comes rolling in from the coast. We can see the ocean, but we're 1,000 feet up. But the fog comes over, and it looks like water coming over the hills towards us. And if you are tripping out enough, it really looks like the ocean is lapping at your door. And you can imagine what it would be like if there was a huge tsunami or an event or something. And all it would take was a couple 100 feet for us to be seeing that.
Yep. So I think I'm gonna run that feed on the like the original Bernie. It'll have to be run on one of the other YouTube channels.
Yeah.
We'll just put it up there, and it'll run permanently, and it'll it'll have a super chat attached or some kind of a donation, so we can just it's ringing the bell for funding for Cork, basically. Yeah. But it'll be a cool cam. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. Looking forward to doing that.
Dennis just dropped a couple of things in live production. I liked this one. I'm going to read the tweet. It's a video. It says, "Look at this historical moment. I'm at the Muslim Community Organization where over 200 are here and 99% are for Bernie. This caucus has 9 delegates available. This is the beginning of winning this revolution. I'm amazed and my heart is so warm." And this is Jamal Green.
There it is right there, everybody.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think we're seeing a trend.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing a trend.
Yeah. Ooh, and he dropped a video. He's got Nina. Cry me a river for the wealthy elites in this country.
All right. Well, let's see if I can get the audio on this to actually work. I had this going right before, so let's crank this up.
I didn't think we'd be able to hear it, but can they hear it?
We can both. I think I got this down so we can both hear it. So here, let's see what we got here, folks. Oh, that's terrible. Sorry. That was awful, but I killed that quick. Sorry, everybody. Totally my fault. I forgot that I didn't need to have the little headphone clicked. I told you this was going to be a new test here. So let's try this again. It shouldn't be as painful this time. All right, here we go.
Would defend the wealthiest people in this country over the working people in this country. We need real campaign finance reform to the extent that a Mayor Bloomberg can totally finance his campaign. He doesn't have to go out to the people. He doesn't have to build a movement. He doesn't have to talk to people. He can buy his way. It is the same attitude that the elites, maybe Jason likes the word elite over oligarch, but it's the same attitude that the elites had in 1930 against FDR. All of them lined up against him, and he said, "I welcome your hatred," because he was standing up for the people. And that is the same message that Senator Bernie Sanders has to the everyday people of this nation, that I welcome the hatred of the elites because I am standing up for you. So cry me a river for the wealthy people in this country. Nobody would defend the wealthiest people in this country over the world.
Well, that was cool. That was very cool. Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, the entire way this audio works is now very different from the way I've been doing it for years. We've actually gone through, I don't know how many different renditions in the last couple months, because I've moved, then we moved, and then we decided to shift focus from video to audio, and obviously we're not doing the best job there.
Hence the radio setup.
Yeah, hence the radio setup, which still isn't ideal, the way we have this, so working on that. Yes, Nina is pissed, and we love it too, Marcus. Very excited about that. Anybody have any other news of the campaign that we know of going on? Any more results from Iowa? That is really all we're looking for here. I'm going to spin up this see if they've got any reporting done. Last time I was looking at our coverage last time, and we had this this very nice map of all the counties, and I can't find anybody with a nice county map yet. Maybe it's because we don't have enough data yet.
Let me look for it.
See some Warren signs in the back. Here, we're looking at the now this. Yeah, if you would, that would be great. There's this is a shot from now this ongoing caucus.
Yeah,
There's
I found one. Results by county.
Yikes, there's a Biden sign. You found results by county, that's good.
Hold on. Confirming that it's 2020. No, 2012.
Ah, shoot. So this is Des Moines University caucus. As you can see, the first results are coming in. See if we can hear what he's saying there.
So we got Politico, New York Times, Business Insider, or Newsweek?
Yeah, good question.
Yes, that makes sense, but also Biden.
A live election now.
Hey, George Piazza. Yeah, long time no see.
Okay, so Politico is calling Pete Buttigieg with 160 popular vote. Bernie Sanders at 142.
Interesting.
But that's
the popular
those little
vote. This
numbers.
is
Those are all
bullshit.
the satellite caucuses because they won't be. They shouldn't be releasing any.
Jan Biden barf.
Biden. Yeah, so Pete Buttigieg 160, Bernie 142, Joe Biden 121, Elizabeth Warren 117, Amy Klobuchar 59. Andrew Yang not placing in the top 5.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, trying to adjust the mic again. Trying to get this a little better. I know I'm still showing up in Laura's over there. Trying to get this better. Wait, there we go. That's still better.
What if I tilt it like this? Does that help?
No, I still get picked up over there, but it's not as much. It's not as much. It's okay. It's okay. These are the things that most professionals do before they go live. I just figured I'd do them while we're here, right? When do the results start coming in, Terry Brooks? We don't know. We're just kind of hanging out waiting for that. That's really what's going on here, is just trying to see.
The caucus process is a time-consuming one, especially if there's a lot of people. Although at this point, if it's so obviously skewed one way or another.
Right.
What are you looking at?
Well, yes, exactly. And I'm looking at these are like.
Because they have to count and then record and then stay and then be recounted, and so it's not like just placing a vote.
Right.
Once.
What we're waiting for is this guy here in the picture, these people, to actually put something up on the board that says numbers. So it's like the first alignment count. I think people are moving around.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to shift sides, or my candidate doesn't have enough, so now who am I going to go with?
Right.
And this is our lame ass version of forming coalitions at the local level.
Right.
Whereas Parliament, right? If we had a little bit more of that, if we had multiple parties and one party couldn't do what they do, like both our Republican and Democratic parties allow each other to do, you would have to form. And Germany is the same way, right? You can't. One party can't control shit. You have to form a coalition with other parties, or else you can't get shit done. That in itself would be a 10 times much better democracy than we have now, just to get that shit in place.
Just getting more than 2 parties would be nice. I was looking at, it was interesting, I got my sample ballot today. I didn't get my regular ballot, but I got my sample ballot.
Okay.
And it was like, wow, there are green candidates for president.
No.
But they're just not on the radar
Who
this
knew?
time around. Because yeah, Jill. How many times did Jill have to run before she got, the attention that she got? It's interesting. So.
Right. That is true. So many, yes, Melissa H. There are so many progressive shows on YouTube now compared to 2015. I agree.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome. That's why we don't do much.
Right.
I mean, now I should say, Laura and I have been more focused on other efforts. We haven't been focused on this. Larry Taylor has been doing amazing work with Progressive Oregon. Oz, Land of Oz in Washington, has been doing amazing work with Progressive Washington. We're working on a Progressive Alaska. We're thinking there's going to be a Progressive California if we can ever get in touch with Andrew Becker. So there's stuff going on.
It won't be hosted by me.
No.
Never
So
again.
there's shows happening, stuff going on, but we're really focused on the West Coast, and we're really focused on down ballot candidates, and we're really focused on teaching civics, Robert's Rules of Order. Larry, I don't know if you saw, there was a letter we pushed out in Facebook on all of the people, the Valdez Bravos on that list. It's all of the Oregon delegates, the Oregon Democratic Party members that say they are for Bernie Sanders. All right. There was no list like that.
Yeah. Oh,
No
yeah.
list like that in 2016.
Yeah.
None. All right. And that list exists today
We
because
could have
of
had
Larry's
Eddie
efforts.
do one in a Google Doc for us, and it would have taken him, a while to find it. And that's what we did. We did it all ourselves. But now there's ever so many resources. So I think that what our focus is last time it was just everyone progressive. We will interview as many people as we want. I think now there's going to be a little bit more of a focus of people who make it through their primaries and are going to the general.
Yeah.
Because we can really then focus in on the ones that we truly want to support and really help them produce some really worthwhile content that they can use.
Right.
And so the interview shows maybe look a little different. We really want to be the most benefit, and good video of your talking points is always a nice thing to have.
Right. And that's kind of a big difference for us, is that we're not here trying to do this so that we can make a living with a show. And a lot of other organizations, and it's totally fine, but they're out there trying to make a living doing the show. We're trying to expand reach for other shows. We're trying to plant stake in mediums that we can get a hold of, like Cork FM, like getting on CCTV, because the content that's put on CCTV, even though it's only available in Salem, other community access locations can request that content. So it gets into a whole new medium. And where does that content go on CCTV? It reaches 250,000 households. It reaches a lot of nursing homes. It reaches a lot of places that you would expect closed caption television to reach. But CCTV is unique because they reach 250,000 households. There is no local station in Salem. It's kind of weird, because Salem is the capital of Oregon, where the politics are supposed to happen, but none of the politicians actually live in Salem. So that's why. Yes, Terry Brooks, Pelosi must go. On that note, while we're waiting for some results to come through, you can see right here, I just wanted to point out right here, they're talking about exactly what the problem is right here. Viable candidate groups caucus goers supporting non-viable candidates. And in certain places where they don't have 15%, right? If you don't have 15% in that area, you are not a viable candidate. And that's what happened. That's what was in that first vote, right? Right. So that's what happens here, is basically if your candidate doesn't have a chance, then you're gone and you have to decide where you go.
Yeah. And I was amazed. I was listening to the pre-interviews that they were doing with all different kinds of supporters of Yang and Klobuchar and Warren, and people were asking them, well, if your candidate isn't viable with this, in this choice, who will be your second choice? And so many of them were saying, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. And
Right.
I thought that was odd. And I think it was probably a little bit disingenuous. And I've been seeing a lot of tweets about Andrew Yang's supporters doing kind of an anybody but Bernie type of thing, which was surprising because I think Andrew really likes Bernie,
Right.
but his Yang supporters have their own perspective on the situation, and he does not seem to be pulling very viable numbers in Iowa, though.
Right. All right, so exactly. And here's the update on that. This is nice that they have these going. Warren, Sanders, Biden, Buttigieg, only viable candidates at Lincoln High School caucus site in Des Moines.
Lincoln High School, folks, you heard it here.
That's right. And we heard it thanks to now this. Yeah, I mean, really appreciate that they're running this feed right here, because we certainly aren't. This is what we used to do: scrape other people's feeds. It's nice that we can grab, independent media, mostly independent media, for this. So there's the contingent over there, and this is kind of what we've seen, right? Although there's a lot of variety in this particular place. We've seen some Warren signs, some Biden signs.
They've been working hard and spending a lot of money here, and do have some ground game for Iowa. But if they can sustain it, is another question.
Right. All right.
And is it enough?
Right.
And I don't think so. And I don't think we'll ever. Well, we will see, because that is part of the ground game that Bernie's got. He's got precinct captains almost at everywhere. And
You've seen the cover, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, you see that cover is an Iowa canvassing group. That's not that's larger than most of Biden's rallies. Right? I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. Getting ready to to canvass yesterday.
Yeah, canvassing in Iowa, and we've got people from all across the country that have gone there to make Iowa happen for Bernie. And it's going to happen.
Yeah. So Bernie's ground game has these precinct captains who are all reporting everything that they see, and that is the one thing we've noticed being data captains for the canvassers, is that they are very precise about their information.
Yes.
Very precise about exactly how many doors did you knock on, exactly how many people did you talk to, and they want to make sure that the information that they get and that they report is pristine. And I just appreciate that about his campaign so much, is always the honesty.
Yes. While we wait, I want to just drop this slide in here if I can. It's totally crooked. Give me a second here. Crooked slide. Fix that shit. Okay. I'm out of practice with this. I just want to show everybody this. This is amazing. This is from Nate's Liver. Looks bad for centrists at the Iowa caucuses, but next comes New Hampshire, where, fuck. If you look at these results, this is a recent poll, New Hampshire Democratic primary poll, UMass Lowell, Boston Herald, and the Emerson. And Sanders up 15, Sanders up 7, Sanders up 1. And there's just, and then this over here, the next slide just shows Sanders. So just a double-digit lead in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not going to be any problem with Hillary this time.
Yeah.
Kamala's gone. Biden doesn't have a chance. Warren, nope.
And
I wish I had that map that you showed the other day, which is blue.
Yeah.
A little tiny speck of
Yeah,
whatever.
that was from the donors.
Yeah, the donors.
No, his ground game is, and people talk about them wanting to cheat again. And of course, they are trying. But Tom Perez is no Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and neither should want to be each other. But they don't have the money. They don't have the focus on one candidate, and so they don't have the people. They don't. They can't have enough. Soldiers on the ground at all these places that they would need to be to affect any real change. You can't have them in there all of a sudden convincing people to you can't steal the votes away. There are people sitting there. The only thing they can steal is the reporting of the votes.
Right. What's a virtual tie?
Per MSM, that's a virtual. Oh, per MSM, that's a virtual tie. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So yeah, okay. So what have we? I swapped over from looking at the results.
King Elementary School in Des Moines.
There we go. We want to turn up the audio. Hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do they have audio going on? Yeah, I don't really think they have much. They're waiting for somebody to announce. This is the first alignment, so they're waiting for that. Oh, here.
Yeah, the first alignment. That's very Star Trek.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
That could be a movie. Star Trek, the alignment.
The first alignment?
Yeah. Maybe that's one of their mandates. So
this is what a caucus looks like, everybody,
Yeah.
if you want to know. My father went to the last one and said that was very interesting, very exciting. It took a long time. I think we're going to be a little more practiced this time.
And is anyone making the case to you?
Everybody.
Everybody. What are you being swayed by?
Education, Social Security, veterans, the minimum wage. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. Iowa's minimum wage is under $8. And they expect people to live off that.
Are the two big groups, Biden and Bernie, are you thinking about one or the other of those?
Right now it's kind of a toss-up.
Okay.
All three.
How could that be?
The other.
I didn't hear what she
Warren.
said.
Okay. We'll check back in with you.
I don't know if you. So yeah, that kind of blew my mind. She basically just said, it's between Biden and Bernie for you, and she said, yeah, and then he goes, who is it? Who do you pick? And she goes, it's a toss-up. Between Biden, how can it be a toss-up between Biden and Bernie? I don't understand how you equate those two human beings to be anywhere near each other in anything other than their whiteness, I guess, and their oldness. Yes, Gravel and Tulsi should be in the debates, and Bloomberg shouldn't have been able to buy himself in.
Gravel didn't want to come to the debates, though.
That's true.
We interviewed him. He was very happy to stay at his retirement, his home in Seaside, and write his book, which he was on strict deadline for.
That is true.
He did not want to be on the, and so in that sense, I am glad that he was not, because it wasn't really genuine that he, that he was there for that. And I think with his ability to hear the questions and things like that, I think it would have been tough on him.
Right. Agreed. Check that out. 64 people. I have all 64, 63 of you, whichever it is. Nice to have you. He's back talking to the one lady again. Suppose we could find out what they're having to say.
Yeah. Has she figured it out yet?
I don't know.
Oh God, there's a pink hat. Get her out of there. Who's she supporting though? Yang. Who?
Really? Well, Yang's telling his people to go for Bernie. And no, I don't think Yang would beat Trump. He's not polling real well across the country, everybody.
That's right. We're loud Democrats.
Interesting. Did you see that?
So, I want to ask. Can I ask? I see all the your menagerie of candidates. What does that reflect? Does that reflect what you think? You're supportive of all of them.
I do support them all. I love them all, but no one has just knocked my socks off.
And so, are you still undecided at the caucus?
Is she going for Bernie or not?
Yes.
Wow. So
she apparently loves them all.
For just to support. I know he's not viable, but now my second choice. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. So, what weighs you in a situation like this? Or is it individuals who are coming up and making their case, or you're just sort of surveying the scene and deciding?
No, I've been watching things for a long time, and I like bits and pieces of everybody. But to really pull it through, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. I'm going to vote Democrat no matter who. I will support that. I like Pete Buttigieg.
All right. That's enough of that. I'm just going to say that I'm really discouraged at the Lincoln High.
Well, the people that he's choosing to interview.
So far, yeah.
I think he's interviewing the ones who are kind of wandering around lost. I think the ones who have chosen are standing with their candidates.
I'm still disappointed in all the young people standing there screaming for Yang.
Oh, but that's the thing. That is a thing.
All right, well, whatever.
Yeah.
At least his people are going for Bernie when Bernie is actually viable. Yang was not viable on the he was not in the 4, right? He wasn't in the 4.
No.
I think that was just the last defiant, Yang defeats Trump.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
that's
want
great.
it to be so.
Now vote for Bernie. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Barbara, yeah, the pink hats are, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a flak jacket? I have no idea. Whose? Oh,
That
his?
guy's. No, I think it's just a tasteful fleece.
Yeah, it's
Micro
very possible.
fleece.
There you go. Wow.
I don't know what's happening with Bernie's event that was supposed to go.
I checked on that. Nothing
Yeah,
has
no, I've had
occurred
it,
yet.
I've had it open here. Maybe it's just, to gather people so that they can talk and then share information with each other. I don't know.
No, it's not running yet, like you said. We haven't heard any amazing new info. Let's see, Iowa caucus. I'm looking up Twitter. You guys know any new news? Let's see.
Yes, I hear. There's an interesting tweet because this is right what you just said. Do Bernie people not know how to approach the uncommitted? It's weird. I'm watching them just staying in their group.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So maybe that's part. They didn't. That's part of it. Like you're supposed to go up and persuade others who are either undecided or their candidates unviable. You come join us.
Well, maybe
right?
they're feeling very strong because it's a big group.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's lots of great video footage out there of canvassing going on. Precinct 6, Story, Iowa. Holy cow, there's a lot of people. Yeah, you're not seeing any of this. Here. There you go. We'll just run through the Twitter feed right now. That's big. Big stuff going on there.
Somebody said the beauty of Bloomberg is that he is the only candidate he helps is Bernie. He pulls support from others, but Bernie supporters would never support that oligarch.
There you go. Huge turnout in DM 47. Multiracial, multi-generational working class in support of Bernie Sanders. That's nice. Wow, look at that. That's some shots. That is some shots. That's amazing. UBI for the homeless, low-income, disabled, but not for everyone. Right, you're talking about Yang's policies. Yeah.
Somebody is observing that they thought tonight would be the end of Buttigieg, but he's doing better than expected.
That is weird.
Yeah. Oh,
That
no.
is weird.
He's got. I mean, they've got to back someone that can somehow be propped up and survive.
Yeah, that's true. I what are we at? 642?
Yeah.
I really thought we would have some freaking numbers to look at
No, I
by
think-
this point. I'm
I
really,
think these are the biggest caucuses they've ever seen in their lives.
that could be. Caucus for Bernie is trending.
So Oz says at 2% reporting, Bernie is at 23%. Well, that's something.
Great. Where are you finding that, Oz? Where's the links? Drop it in the chat because I'm not able to look at Slack at the moment. And if we're going to keep this running and talking and whatever, I could run it. Great pictures there. There's Tina Desiree Berg. I know she's out somewhere.
She in Iowa?
I don't know. What did she say here? The Bernie energy is strong. Iowa caucuses.
Yeah?
Maybe.
Yeah? Wouldn't-
We know. I think Pat went out there too.
Oh, really?
Pretty sure. I'm not sure where everybody went, but I know we've
Yeah.
got some people out there.
Well, Joy's there. Christopher's there, the chalk guy.
Wow, that's huge.
But yeah, there are people going out there and staying for 5-6 weeks, just calling
Yeah.
on other burners. Hey, can you put me on
It's-
your couch? And it's awesome. And I hope
It-
they keep doing that.
It is the movement that we wanted to see in 2016. It's
Yeah.
just so.
And it was there, but it wasn't. It didn't have the
Yeah.
communication and connection.
They have Pete at 22%. Bullshit. That's hilarious.
Well, that's going with that popular vote thing I
Oh,
saw.
here we go. First round, Drake University.
Yeah, Pete's ahead with the popular vote, 689 to 613,
Wow.
and Joe Biden at 499. They're the top three.
Drake University caucus in Des Moines. Bernie 67, Warren 32. All others 0.
Yeah, what's this popular vote thing? Is that a thing? Is that a real thing?
I don't know what that
Because
is.
what does that mean? Because
I
this
don't
is
know.
a caucus.
I don't know. Like the exit poll or something? I don't know.
Or is it
Anybody
the
know what
actual
hell we're
physical
talking about?
people who voted for them at the spot, at their caucus? I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows?
We didn't do our research into that aspect of the caucusing
well,
this time
they
around.
just, political just threw it in there. I wasn't expecting that.
It's just, that's weird. That's good, though. Good news. Hank's fingers, almost as if the media got it wrong.
Gee.
So I want to ask you, what have you guys been doing in your neck of the woods for Bernie or for
Oh, yeah.
other candidates? Tell us in the chat. Let us know where you've been going. If you've just been donating cash, you've been donating time. If you've been too busy working for the man, then fine.
Are you
But-
calling? Are you texting? Are you canvassing?
Yeah, because there's all sorts of jobs you could do. Like, I didn't feel like I was doing enough personally for the Bernie Sanders campaign, and I want to do something different. So I went and did some work for Shahid Buttar's campaign, and that's fun. And if you don't think you have skills that a campaign needs, you're wrong. There's a skill that you have that you can help a campaign with, and you can do it all over the computer. So I suggest, if you're not involved directly with the Bernie Sanders campaign, get involved. If you don't want to get involved there, you're already involved, and you have more time, get involved with another local candidate, because Bernie can't do it himself. We have to put Shahid Buttar in office. We have to put Rishi Kumar in office. We have to put Joshua Collins in office. We have to put so many other real progressives in office.
Yep.
Albert Lee, Mark Gamba. There's other people that we need to put in place. We need to get rid of Kurt Schrader. We need to get rid of Pete DeFazio. Right? Earl Blumenauer hasn't done anything in Oregon. And these old farts just sitting in there collecting cash and not doing anything.
And we
for
got
us.
to get the squad reelected. They're
Right.
all up for
Gotta get the
reelection.
squad reelected, and so get on a campaign. You want to have a fun job in government? Start working for a campaign as a volunteer, because that's a career track. That's and why not? I just do it if you can. I know we really don't have a lot of youngsters that watch this program. We're not appealing to the millennials.
No.
So all you old folks who are semi-retired and want to go back to work again, there's a
Lynn's a monthly Bernie donor.
nice.
Took the Texting for Bernie training yesterday. We'll start texting
Awesome.
this week. Yay!
That's great. That's great. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I'm learning how to be a backup data captain, and holy shit, there's a lot of information. There's a massive amount of data, just like teaching and programming and training, and there's training seminars going on all the time, and backup data captain is like one position in like a gazillion of positions. It's a frickin' machine.
I'm the comfort host. I'm the backup comfort host.
Yes, you are. No, well,
In
that's
charge of
actually,
snacks and making sure everybody knows where the bathroom is and making
It's true.
sure people feel welcome and know where to go and know what
right,
to do.
right,
I'm good at that.
right.
Telling
exactly.
people what to do.
Engagement, you are. Engagement does matter, density. Brian Smith donates $54 a month since he's announced, and face to face with my kids' friends, college. Okay, so what do you mean face to face with your kids' college friends? You talk to them about Bernie, or
He probably talks to kids' friends.
Terry Brooks is 20 years old and Bernie's. We have a 20-year-old person watching our show. That's freaking
Hey!
awesome. Hi there, welcome.
Wow, that's amazing. Melissa, thank you. My progressive
you,
state
Melissa.
rep hired a bus to take volunteers from Vermont to New Hampshire to canvass yesterday. Wish I could have gone.
Wow,
Plan to phone bank for Bernie.
That's awesome. That's
and,
awesome.
and Brian did some texting too. Right on. Well, there's what?
That's-
What?
I'm waiting. They're not going to say it, but it's just hilarious. I mean, I'm waiting for them to say Bernie had people bust in from another state, because that's. I mean,
Oh, did you hear the upset about about people coming from other countries to help canvass for Bernie? And it's like, are they interfering with the election?
Right,
It's like, no, they're
right.
not voting. They're actually coming here. And I mentioned, that we have friends that would do the same. He
Marcus?
has global support.
Right. Marcus is going to canvass for Bernie, right, Marcus?
I mean, think of the dedication. Imagine going and canvassing for Angela Merkel. I mean, it's like, not that we would, but that's huge.
That would we'd have to know German, and we would
I
not
know.
we would
We're
not campaign for
pitiful.
Muti. But yes,
Yes.
that would be huge. It would show up there. Are you laughing yet, Marcus? Where did he go, Dennis? Anyway, so thank you, Melissa. Really appreciate that. Brian did some texting too. That's awesome.
Good.
What do we got here? Melissa says, so far Pete is ahead of Bernie by about 3%, hoping the stronger Bernie counties are coming up. Yeah, anybody know where the big, strong Bernie county versus, we had all this information before.
I do have the poll, Melissa, that you saw with Sanders with the 60+%. I think that was the results of the early satellite caucuses. That there is no such poll, there is no such percentage yet released for tonight's full caucus. So there you go.
There you go. It's all just good news. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good this time compared to last time. Do I still think they're going to rig it? Yes.
Oh, they're going to try their darndest. I mean,
Do I still think-
I'm a little suspicious of Pete's high numbers, but if Pete Buttigieg can't do well in Iowa, where can he do well?
Is that his home?
No,
No.
but it's a state starting with I in the Midwest.
Oh,
He's from Indiana. Indiana, Iowa.
there you go.
Nice
That's
young
true. He is
man.
Midwest guy. So.
Clean cut.
Expect them to do something good somewhere, I
Yeah.
guess. Besides,
It's a little suspicious.
Threw some
just-
potatoes in the wood stove. Coals are hot. You got wood stove going, Schultze? Where are you at? Where's everybody at today? Just drop your state. Terry Brooks, you were a Sanders fan back in 2016. Wasn't old enough to vote. I remember you back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wasn't old enough to vote. That's awesome to see you now. It's really cool. I wonder how many. That's awesome. I didn't think about that. That's great. It's great. We got that a lot of returning folks.
Mohammed, they haven't announced any results. We have some. Politico is posting some popular vote results, which have Pete Buttigieg ahead of Bernie a bit. I don't know where those numbers come from. They haven't released the percentage of state delegate equivalents at all yet.
And I'm basically scrolling through, online papers to just find some information. Anybody's got an update or a chart.
God,
that's all I'm
I don't
looking
think
for.
Pete could win. There's no way Pete could win this.
No.
No.
Sanders to skip the State of the Union address, campaign in New Hampshire instead.
What a good idea.
I think so.
Let's do the same.
Yes. Let's all skip the State of the Union address.
Yes.
Right? Space Farce is going to be created, and the
But
great state of Kansas won the Super Bowl.
and Flint still doesn't have clean water.
Right. That too. All right, we got cities, states here. We got densities in Ohio. Lori is in New Jersey, and Cirrus is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Babs is in South Carolina, and Evan is from Vermont, and you're in Rhode Island right now. What are you doing in
Wow.
Rhode Island right now? That's cool.
Oh, and there's
Katie's in
Katie with France and Europe. Yeah, so
Yeah.
fancy.
Oh, that's right. So, Melissa, you were talking about the Rising Live reporting. I've got to get that link. Somebody drop me a link in the chat. Please. Somebody, please.
Somebody with a wrench.
Yes, so I can open that up. Should just.
Or knight her or something.
There we go. There.
Oh yeah, give
has
Melissa
the
a wrench. There you go.
There we go.
I'm looking at the chat for the official Bernie watch party.
What's going on there?
I'm looking.
Yeah, they haven't started this.
Somebody said, this is scaring me. Somebody said, just in from CNN, Clinton is the leader.
Peter's just a younger Biden for fucks. Yes,
Oh yeah.
I agree. He's a kinder, gentler Biden. And what were you saying earlier about something about the Rising site? I can't remember. You were saying something crazy was going on there.
What?
Oh, it was the chat. Like 19,000 people were watching the Rising broadcast.
I don't know. According to the
That's
Des Moines
huge.
Register, Bernie's way up.
Well, that's a little surprising that the Des Moines Register is announcing the truth. They've been kind of trying to squash that. Their editorial board went all Warren on us. But they didn't
Somebody's
back
trying
Bernie
to call
last
the
time.
manager about the stream. Anyone know who we should contact about the stream? It was I want to speak to the manager. Why is this stream going?
We used to get that. We
Yeah.
used to get that. At the
Wow,
very, very-
Mohammed's in bed watching our stream from Pakistan. Dang.
We'll be leaving for work soon. Bernie should win.
He's a good guy. He is a good
Mohammed, Thank
guy.
you for joining us. That's awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry to keep you
Thank
guys
you,
up
Melissa.
late who are watching this late.
Yeah, no kidding. But thank you for watching us. The world matters. All of it. This is it. Uh-oh. Chat died on me. Hang on. That's not good. I lost the chat.
I got it still.
I know. I gotta. Oh, I see what happens. Kind of gets
Oh,
delayed.
yeah.
What else happened?
No, I just clicked it and it went into the same button that the chat was in.
Right.
And I got the other chat. Ew.
I have to open link in new window.
Yeah.
Although it's not letting me. That's not working there.
Sorry, guys. We're trying to get our
Sorry,
visual
I'm
back.
trying to open that up and it's not working. I apologize.
Should we both have it going? Is that the drain
No,
on
you
our...
should, it is a drain, but it's not causing that big of a problem right now. But you shouldn't be watching it
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
That's
the only way I can get-
32,000. Holy cow!
It's the only way I can get the chat.
And it's yeah. The problem is that I can't open it this way. I have to. It's just not letting me open it. I don't know why. Every time I go to open it, it opens. It's trying to open an internal view of that, thanks to the chat. I need to. I'm gonna need to open it in. All right, drop it in Slack. Probably open it from Slack. That's the problem.
Our own channel? Or the one that she's trying to...
Not our chat. No, the
Yeah.
thing we're trying to view. Please. And I'm going to pop the chat up again. Actually, yeah, Mohammed, your last name is Shahid. That's very cool. Looking at the Sanders chat, they still haven't done anything here. They're waiting for first results or waiting for something to happen there. Give me 1 second, everybody, and I'm going to open up this link. Hopefully without causing too many problems. Where did you drop it, Laura?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Oh, all right.
No, because I couldn't open it. I had to open up our...
Oh,
Hold on. Hold on.
all right. Well, we're having problems getting this link, but that's okay.
I got it. Here.
it's all right.
I'll take Julie's.
We're doing good. This is better than I was expecting. So thank you all for being here again. It's almost 7. We have no real results other than some words. We know that supposedly Bernie and Buttigieg are tied closely.
Now, Dennis just said that the Des Moines 32 caucus update after the second alignment says Sanders is 77.3 and Buttigieg is 22.7.
There you go. There's the second alignment. Boom, done.
But that's just at one. I mean, that's, I don't know.
Right, that's
if
that one place.
Yeah.
That's the one polling place, and that's what we're dealing with here. Is we got to wait for results to come in from numerous places.
I don't like this thing that Politico's doing. They're nasty anyway. I'm going to look for more of that.
That link that you guys are giving me, I just tried to open that link. It didn't open. It's 404s for me.
Okay, so what is the name of the show? I'll just search for it in YouTube.
Oh, I see. It's double copied. I see what's happened here. Hang on. I don't know why it dumped in there. It's twice. There we go.
Oh, with Crystal. Okay, gotcha.
You guys want to watch Crystal
Yeah.
Ball? Hill TV Live?
Working
she's
people,
saying.
pop.
Think they'll come in and kill and knock it off? Guess we'll see. Here.
No, we'll tell her that Omiki said it was
The night
okay.
is that the working class communities, the ones traditionally supported Hillary Clinton, thought maybe go to Biden. It's just not happening.
It's not happening, and
Yeah.
I think this is the enthusiasm election,
Yeah,
right?
it
This
is.
is about authenticity and enthusiasm.
Right.
Although I will say, this Pete Buttigieg sort of surprise that we're seeing is not totally unexpected if you consider that he spent $7 million in ads in
Right.
Iowa. I mean, he put all of his chips in here, so if he didn't have a good showing, I mean, that was going to be the end.
Yes.
But, I will say, Pete Buttigieg, it's not a total go from now if he wins Iowa. I mean, remember in 2012, right? Who won Iowa for the Republicans? Rick Santorum.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, that's
so
right.
let's
Yeah,
remember, it's
and
not
Mike
a,
Huckabee
it's not
won
a
it
clear-
before that.
Yeah,
so,
it's not
there
a
you go.
clear glide, but he is doing decently well because
Yeah.
he put a ton of money into the state.
Well, and to your point, Rachel, and I'll pass this off to Andrew here, I just pulled up the Real Clear Politics national polling average, and it is a very different story than Iowa, right? Nationally, Pete is down in fifth place at 6.5% of the vote. Bloomberg has really cut into him nationally, of course, Bloomberg not playing in Iowa. So he is having a good night tonight. I think whether he gets first or second, or, you know, I mean, look, it's early. He could end up anywhere in that lineup. But so far, it looks like Pete is having a strong night. Does that create a path forward for him or not?
Look, it's too early to tell, but the big question out of Iowa is not how many delegates you win, because there really aren't that many at stake,
right.
But it is about what's the media narrative coming out of this, right?
Sure.
What's the boom? My question has always been, if Biden ends up in third or fourth place, which in these very early numbers seems like it could be a possibility, is he able to hold on in Super Tuesday states, in South Carolina, where he says he has a firewall? Pete Buttigieg, you know, I think he really needs no less than second place tonight. I'm not guaranteeing that that's going to happen, to be honest with you. If it does, that's good for Pete Buttigieg. He'll move on. But I'm still not convinced that he's...
All right. If you guys saw that when they passed through there, they've got like 25 out of 1,700 precincts reporting in so far, and Pete has a lead over Sanders in those precincts at the final alignment of those. So that's where we're at right now. Very, very early in the primary or the caucus here in Iowa, and it's going to keep going. And the question to everybody here is, how long do we want to keep going?
Oh, that's a good point.
You know? And I don't have a problem continuing until we see some stronger results come through. I don't know how long it's going to take. Hopefully it'll happen soon. We can certainly keep this running here until, you know, hopefully the Hill won't come by and slam us or try to shut us down for broadcasting this. You never know. Another reason why we want to be able to broadcast to our own website, because even if the Hill didn't like us broadcasting this, they couldn't shut us down. They'd have to send us a letter and say we really weren't happy that you broadcast our stuff, and then we could actually pay them a licensing fee if they wanted for that material, right? So that's kind of the benefit of entering the actual FCC licensing system, is that we have the right to stream and then deal with the costs later, if there's going to be one, right? So, see, I'm going to kick this back up in a second here, because what I need to do is pull the chat back out if I can. Just give me a second. That way I can talk to you guys while we're watching the results. Keep going? You want us to keep going? 4 a.m. for Marcus. 4 a.m. for Marcus. That's pretty, yeah.
Those of you who have to get up and go to work are excused. We won't take it personally. No,
we won't. But what I am going to do, I think what I'm going to do right here is put it on this for just a second. We'll listen to what they have going on, and I'm going to take. We're going to stretch.
Yeah,
take a stretch for a second.
Yeah.
So here, I don't have any of my fancy. Oh, there we go. There, drop it in this, the overlay here. I could run chat. I can run Twitter. So we'll pull up some. I'll get some tweets going in the background in this. We're just going to run the Hill TV while we're listening to results. And as soon as we hear some good news or some new news, we'll pop back in. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. Please hit the super chat. I'm getting better at that.
Yeah. It rolled right off your tongue.
It did. Run the Killer Mike ad. Yes, I need to get that queued up. I thought I had it ready, and I do not. So let's listen to this, and then we will pull that Killer Mike up. That's another one we need to get dropped. All right, here we go. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Be class and education level. Pete's strongest backers have been, higher ed having.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. I think a lot of people have been saying it for a long time, including you on the show, right? I mean, it's just, people aren't dumb. Right, they can see that everything in Buttigieg's career has been methodically and painstakingly set up for this moment. Yeah. Right, there is you can't fake authenticity, and when every achievement in one person's life feels like a photo op, just so that you can move on to the next one, and then when you start asking questions, and he gets very enraged, like when the New York Times pressed him on the Canadian bread price fixing scandal, right? You see that rage in his eyes. Oh, yeah. And I do think that like I said, it's not that he doesn't have no track record. I think that he has a very nice sheen of manicured appearance that he wants to present. Well, as soon as you start pressing him on that, you see what he's really.
He really short-circuited on that. Rachel, I'll get you in there in 1 second. I want to give a quick update with 32% of the 1,700 precincts reporting now, we have 25% Bernie
No, you have
Sanders.
32,
Sorry,
of the, it's 1.8%.
1.8%
Okay.
of the vote that I'm giving you here. 32%. So it has 25% for Bernie Sanders, 20% for Elizabeth Warren, 18% for Pete Buttigieg. Do with that information what you will. I know what you wanted to. I just wanted to give
the last thing I want to say about Pete Buttigieg, kind of to tie up this discussion a little bit, is that despite whatever the media narrative is tomorrow, I think Pete Buttigieg has two fatal flaws that means he is an unsustainable candidate. And one of those is his performance with people of color. He cannot win the general without that backing. And I think it is not with him. He's trying so hard, and it's just not with him.
Yeah.
But the second thing is that he seems to have never learned this very fundamental rule of politics, which is that you don't insult the voters.
Right.
You do not talk down to the voters. And he is a perennial, constant violator of this rule. The way that he finger wags, not even just the Democrats, but across the aisle. Like if you're a Republican Christian, you have been insulted by Pete Buttigieg at every possible opportunity. He needs those people to win. And all he does is lecture them. Elizabeth Warren makes the same mistake. Bernie Sanders doesn't.
He doesn't.
And I think that has propelled him a lot in this. Joe Biden doesn't as well because he's a seasoned politician and he knows better.
That's what explains both of their support with actual working class voters. Andrew, I want to get your insight into the amount of money that Rachel had talked about earlier. Buttigieg basically carpet bombed Iowa in TV ads from the very beginning. Huge amounts of TV spend. I actually saw some speculation as to why Pete Buttigieg as to why the other campaigns basically seeded Pete Buttigieg the final weeks of the campaign in that TV ad spend. Do you think it made that much of a difference here to see some of the disproportionate results that we're seeing? What do you think?
No. I mean, I think that he spent $7 million. Look, I think it really does help Pete Buttigieg in terms of him getting to the point where he is. But I don't think it tremendously hurt an Elizabeth Warren or some of the other folks because look, Pete really had to convince voters to actually pull the trigger on a 38-year-old mayor of a 100,000 person city. But the point is, I think that, look, what we're also seeing, remember, Pete Buttigieg aired straight up ads against Medicare for All, right? Straight up, alongside other third-party groups. And we're seeing tonight, with millions of dollars ad spent against Medicare for All, Democrats are saying 60% that they support it. That's not a good thing for Pete Buttigieg or a Klobuchar or even a Biden who said this is not the way to go. So I'm not so sure that this is going to be the greatest night for Pete Buttigieg. Look, if he gets second or third place, he lives another day. But you're reading the numbers. I'm not sure that Warren's going to lose second place.
I'm not sure either. Everything right now is so. I want to float the idea here. This is really dramatic. So I'm seeing Sean Trendy's very respected political analyst saying it is very, very possible here that Sanders could win the first alignment, Warren could win the second, and then Buttigieg could get the most number of delegates. So a complete mess. Who the hell wins Iowa if that's the case? I mean,
this is the kind of chaos I am here for.
That is the case. I'm like, hey, listen, we'll be here all night breaking that one down.
Listen,
because
you know what benefits, well, first of all, if Biden is going to end up in fourth and not be any of those winners, the best possible thing he could hope for is for it to be kind of a mess, where there's no coalescing around one alternative.
I think that's right.
That's number one. The other person that benefits is Bernie Sanders, because as long as the vote is being split between a number of other establishment candidates, he holds on to his advantage, Rachel. So if it did end up being that kind of a muddle and everybody can kind of claim victory, then I think Sanders is still in a very good position here going forward, especially if Biden does end up sort of looking like he's crumbling and collapsing.
Yeah, I think the flip side of what you said about Biden is also true, right? He could benefit from this chaos, but he has a ton to lose. And I think the postscript of potentially him tanking in Iowa is that we finally see Joe Biden unmasked, right? This name ID, this sort of expectation kind of goes to what you've been saying, like he doesn't have the financing, he doesn't have the enthusiasm, and people are finally starting to wake up to say, well, maybe not. And so this could be the death knell for Joe Biden, the long, slow descent, right? And so that's something I think we could easily see if he doesn't do well in Iowa.
Yeah, well, the other person that benefits Max from kind of a muddle in Iowa, Mike Bloomberg. Waiting out there with $1 billion to spend, hanging out on Super Tuesday, hanging out nationwide. Look, I think this is what if he could have picked an outcome, that would be the outcome that Bloomberg would be hoping for.
Right. Yeah, I'm about to have my own Biden bleed from the eye moment. Bloomberg. Look, I said it the last time I was on this show, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, Mike Bloomberg's entire pitch, right, is to capitalize on everything that's wrong with this electoral system, right? By, like, evading kind of real scrutiny, just, you know, carpet bombing the country with ads, just by, I mean, like, having a lot of money. Like, that is Mike Bloomberg's appeal. That is it. And, you know, and that he's, like, not Bernie Sanders, right? And I think that you're right, Crystal, that this would benefit him, you know, if it turned out to be that big of a mess. And, you know, that was kind of the narrative of this week, right? Was that I think even with Pete Buttigieg or Mike Bloomberg, like you've seen the Democratic establishment throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at Bernie Sanders to see if there is some off-ramp that can put them back in charge. Because for the first time in a long time, I think the Democratic establishment does not feel like they're at the wheel, and that terrifies them.
One of the things I love that you said on the show, Max, was that Mike Bloomberg doesn't have to be bought by special interests because his wealth is itself a special interest. That having $51 billion, being the ninth richest man in the world, actually is very much a special interest in and of itself. Rachel, this is fascinating. There was I saw Jason Johnson, who I've called on this show a professional wrong person, was on MSNBC arguing with Nina Turner from the Sanders campaign, deriding her for calling Mike Bloomberg an oligarch. He was calling it name calling. I mean, look, we're from the right. I mean, it's not. He's the ninth richest man in the world. It's pretty easy to be like,
he owns his
he's
own
an oligarch.
media network.
He has a media
He
company.
Bought the endorsement of all these mayors.
I was just going to say, he flat out told his own media network not to report badly on
you
him.
will not report on me. And it was just like, we're all like, oh,
if
okay.
that's not an oligarch, I don't know.
In any other country, if that happened, we would call it that.
Yes,
so I think we have to have the same standards.
He's actually richer than much of the Russian
the ones
oligarchs.
we do call.
Yeah, the Russian. He's much. Somebody, I think it was Aaron Mate pointed this out. I was saying he is richer than the Russian oligarchs who are always like, they're meddling in our democracy because they spent like $1 million on whatever and paid it to a consulting firm which saw Donald Trump at a rally.
Yeah,
one
Michael
time.
Bloomberg is meddling in our democracy.
Yeah, he is.
I think the American people are going to. I think the American people are going to see through Michael Bloomberg here. I mean, I definitely think. Look, he's going to be competitive, but if we see a Warren, if we see a Sanders, if we see someone really take momentum out of Iowa, you know, the wind may not be in the sails for a Bloomberg, no matter how much he spends on TV when it gets to Super Tuesday. It just might not happen.
Andrew, what do you think Warren needs to do tonight?
Finish in second.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Elizabeth Warren, because if she finishes in second, there is a strong case to be made. We have a 1-2 progressive, you know, momentum going right now, but also Bernie Sanders was here 4 years ago. He's built up. He almost won the caucus, you know, very, very close 4 years ago, and she worked a strategy to put organizers all across the state. She overcame real hurdles, you know, over the last few months. So if she finishes in second and I'm the Warren campaign, I'm really excited moving into the coming weeks.
I will say this about Mike Bloomberg, though, and rule number one, which we know, don't underestimate money in politics.
Never.
I mean, this is like
or Mike
baseline,
Bloomberg.
or Mike Bloomberg.
$290-something million.
Exactly. But second, you know, I do think that there is a risk, you know, if you come out with a Bernie Sanders or an Elizabeth Warren surge out of Iowa, he's the safe choice for a lot of moderate Democrats, right? He's talking about gun violence. He's talking about, you know, probably potentially immigration, which I think could be an Achilles heel for Sanders with moderate Democrat voters in rural America. And so I do think he poses an existential threat to that progressive wing of the party.
Michael Bloomberg supported cutting Social Security, just like Joe Biden, who is watching collapse, and supported, you know, George W. Bush and John McCain, and still supports the Iraq War. So I think there's a lot that Democratic voters may hear about Michael Bloomberg if and when we get to that point that, you know, hasn't been said yet.
It's not going to be good for Michael Bloomberg to have to talk on the debate stage. If you watch every single one of his ads, not one is Michael Bloomberg straight to camera, because he literally is incoherent when he talks.
Did you see that man trying to scoop ice cream from
that was
it is.
I did not, but I want to.
He actually has good ads. I hate to be Michael Bloomberg guy.
The ads are good.
He has good ads. He really does.
But he hasn't started talking yet. When you put him on the debate stage, when you actually start doing more a real campaign and not just an advertising campaign, I think there's a big difference.
So I do want to point out, you know, Andrew Yang made a big push going into Iowa, did more events than any other candidate. This was a big strategic gamble from his campaign because they have a sort of natural strength in New Hampshire, where you have a lot of independents who can vote. In Iowa, you know, it's a complicated process, which privileges people who are comfortable with that process. You have to meet the 15% viability threshold, so that's another hurdle to overcome. At this point, it doesn't look like he is vastly outperforming the polls coming in. But I just want to say, I mean, we've been seeing polls in recent days, Max, of his idea, universal basic income, what he calls the freedom dividend, and he has moved the needle on that particular issue an insane amount, and could ultimately, with the amount of support that he was able to garner in Iowa, he could ultimately be the sort of kingmaker there and determine of who actually wins the caucuses.
He could. I mean, I've been seeing people tweeting about, you know, Yang folks going over to the Bernie side, and I think that's great. I mean,
we got that update from Dubuque, Iowa.
From Dubuque.
Some anti-establishment solidarity there.
It is, and I mean, it's also solidarity in recognizing, you know, what I just, you know, I'm like a pull string doll. I know I say this like every time I come on, but it's recognizing the plight of the vast majority of people in this country, working people, people who, no matter how much, you know, Trump and his team are touting low unemployment numbers, know that this booming economy is not really booming for them. They are, you know, working people are taking out more high interest loans. They are working like multiple low wage jobs. And I think that this like really kind of comes back to what I started talking about when I mentioned the Atumwa workers, largely Ethiopian immigrants. I think it's actually really, really important for Iowa especially that this was an image of, you know, like Bernie's caucus goers, because it was in Iowa in 2008 where one of the largest single site ICE raids in American history happened, right? And that was in Postville. And it was a significant chunk of the population that was largely immigrants, Guatemalan, Mayan immigrants, in a town of barely over 2,000, almost 400 people were picked up by ICE, and it devastated the town. And this is really what the stakes are, right? The stakes of bringing in a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-generational working class base. The stakes are everything. They are our future because, you know, you can look at candidates who are proposing substantive, you know, propositions to actually heal the pain of working people, or you can look at, you know, an egomaniac who is not only touting, you know, phantom unemployment numbers that don't really address the needs of working people, at the same time that his NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, is a battering ram against worker protections and is destroying the people's right to organize. It's all nominal support for working people from the Trump side. It's substantive support for working people from the Bernie side and even the Yanks.
We're
going to get into quite a bit of that.
We may be having that debate over the next.
I never leave here wondering what Max thinks.
I know.
He makes it plain.
I actually want to give a quick update here from the Iowa Democrats. They have a new statement out saying that they are doing quality control checks, making sure the numbers are accurate. People are still caucusing. They're working to report the results soon. That's because we did not get the results at the time that we thought we would. Just a quick update for everybody that's watching.
I don't remember this taking as long.
Yeah, I know. It's taking quite a while, but I mean, there are like 20
We want it all to be good, so go ahead, check the results.
What is this system?
That is the great question of the night. All right, our panel is going to be back in a bit, but first, the Hill's Reed Wilson is on the ground in Iowa.
That's right. He's going to join us live from Des Moines. Reed, what is the atmosphere down there like? Can you hear us, Reed?
Well, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, there he is.
Cool. All right. So, well, we're sitting in the conference room here in the middle of downtown Des Moines. It is a hurry up and wait situation. We're told by you just got the statement from the state Democratic Party. They just came and talked to me and said exactly the same thing, that they're doing these quality control checks. This is the first time that the Iowa caucuses have relied on these actual cards that people have to check the box of who they support, and the first time that they've relied on the app to get some results in. But of course, the precincts can still call in their results, which is a nice backup plan. I think that's probably what they're trying to confirm. The difference is, but just sort of making sure that they've heard from all of these precincts before they start dumping numbers.
So, Reed, what are some of the other indicators that we need to be looking at? General trends on the ground that you're seeing? I mean, from what we've seen, Biden seems to be underperforming a bit in some of the areas. You're really much an expert on the geography there. Can you maybe take the viewers into what are the exact areas that we need to start looking at for who is having strength and who isn't?
Well, we don't really know yet until we actually get some real results. But
Right.
a lot of the people I've been talking to around the state are telling me that Joe Biden is not viable in their particular caucuses. I've heard from a lot of people here in Des Moines itself. And if Joe Biden is falling short of viability in Polk County, Des Moines, the largest county in Iowa, well, that bodes really poorly. He'd have to have a stellar showing in the rural counties. But the rural counties are really all about organization. And who's got the best organization? It's Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. I would expect that those three are doing pretty well. Bernie Sanders looked as if he was leading, and as the sort of final result, their final poll numbers came in. But I wouldn't sleep on Pete Buttigieg. I've had a couple of top Democratic sources tell me that he is having a better night than people think.
That's generally what we seem to be hearing as well.
Yeah, I mean, early as it is, and with the little bit of numbers that we have, anecdotally, that does look like what is unfolding right now. I mean, Reed, if Pete does get a win here, I was looking at the Real Clear Politics New Hampshire average. He's in 4th. The national average, he's in 5th now, behind Bloomberg. I believe he's at 6 or 7% nationally. So even if he wins Iowa, what does the path look like forward for him?
Well, he's got to get that second win. He's got to continue building momentum. And you can imagine that New Hampshire voters will take a second look at him coming up in the morning. The real devastating thing for this, the person who is devastated most by a potential strong showing from Buttigieg would be Joe Biden, the other main actor in that sort of moderate lane. If he is playing the most electable candidate, and he can't get elected in the state of Iowa, he can't win the state of Iowa on the Democratic side, then
Right.
his rationale for being a candidate ends up being seriously undermined. And you can imagine that a lot of those Biden voters in places like New Hampshire, in places like South Carolina, are going to give Buttigieg a second look, in a lot of cases, a first look, because, up until now, he just hasn't been a name on the national scene. But let's caution, though, we don't have any results coming in yet. I don't want to act like we're coronating a winner already or something.
We have zero results whatsoever. And Reed, I also want to ask you about a crazy scenario which I saw floated by Sean Trendy, which is that we could have different winners for all three. We could have a different winner for the first alignment, a different winner for the second, and then a different winner for the total number of delegates. How do we decipher something like that in that type of situation?
Well, what is this ultimately a contest about? It's about collecting delegates. The Associated Press is going to declare a winner based on the number of delegate equivalents that every candidate gets. That's how the Hill is going to declare a winner. Basically, I mean, delegates are all that matters. You don't go to a convention in Milwaukee and say, hey, I've got more votes out of Iowa than anybody else. You say, I've got more delegates out of Iowa than anybody else. So keep an eye on those delegates. That's the number that matters.
And Reed, what do we know about where Biden stands with money at this point? Because he hasn't had the strength, certainly, of a Sanders or a Pete or a Warren in terms of fundraising. He does have a big super PAC backing him, but is he going to be running low on funds if he performs poorly here in Iowa?
Yeah, if you don't do well in Iowa, your money dries up real quick. It's difficult to see how anybody can regain momentum if they fall short of their expectations in the first round of balloting. And Joe Biden has already had some money troubles, as some of his other rivals, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and even Buttigieg, have raised much more than he has. I mean, the biggest stunner of the moment, I think, is that his inability to raise money as a former vice president and longtime sort of stalwart of the Democratic Party. If he falls short here, I mean, he better have something left in the bank to make a final stand in South Carolina, and that win there has to be big. Basically, if Biden has a weak night tonight, his expectations go through the roof for the next couple of contests. He is under amazing pressure to perform, as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, and what does it mean for Bernie, do you think, if there's kind of a mixed bag in terms of results? If there's if he wins the popular vote and Warren gets the second and Pete gets the delegate count, what do you think that spells in terms of Bernie Sanders? Because, for him, he really benefits from having a lot of people in the race splitting that more Democratic establishment vote.
Yeah, just to be clear, there's only one winner, and that winner is the person who takes the most delegates. So
Yes.
It doesn't matter who gets the most in the first round or the second round. We are going to declare a winner based on those delegate numbers.
Sure.
But, Sanders is going to try to spin that, and he's going to try to use those numbers to make the case that he should actually be the real candidate or whatever. Bottom line is we have all been well aware that no matter who comes in first in that first alignment, they are going to use it. It could be Buttigieg, it could be Biden, it could be whoever. They're going to try to use that to claim some kind of victory. The old line is there are 3 tickets out of Iowa. Well, now there are 3 results out of Iowa too. But it's just important for everybody to keep their eye on the one that actually matters, which is vote.
That's a good point.
Because that is true, but on the other hand, what really matters out of Iowa? The narrative.
And
the
that's
momentum.
actually, to that point I wanted to ask you, Reed, which is that now it looks like the results are going to come in maybe a little bit later than we expected. I'm seeing actually a result here, or some speculation here, that it may not provide, the later it goes, basically, the less of a benefit it is to a potential winner, because what do we have coming up? Tomorrow is the State of the Union for President Trump. Wednesday is the acquittal vote for Donald Trump in the United States Senate. We saw, Reed, actually ahead of the vote tonight, that it was the least amount of network television coverage for an Iowa caucus over the last, I think, 20 years that they've kept statistics on this. So from a media coverage perspective of this election, that's kind of astounding, and in how it's going to be impacted from the from here on out.
Well, let me bring up the alternative to that. It may be the least that the network news have covered it. It is the most that Hill TV has ever covered.
That's
it.
right.
And more and more people are
the
getting
metric that really matters.
Right. Look, I mean, everybody's going to try to spin their possible results. The winner is going to have a good next couple of days. Bumper fundraising prop and a lead, an advantage, a headwind or a tailwind going into New Hampshire. Whether it's the biggest tailwind that the winner of Iowa's ever gotten, I don't know. We'll figure that out. We got Jonathan Easley and Kate Martell up on the ground in New Hampshire in the next couple of days, and they'll be the ones to tell you that.
Yeah,
well, and Reed, let's actually we've got the New Hampshire Real Clear Politics average of polls that we can throw up right now just to show how things are positioned. This can change quickly based on the results when we eventually get them tonight out of Iowa. But Sanders has jumped up to a pretty sizable lead there over Joe Biden. Sanders at 26.5, Biden at 17.5. Then you've got Warren at 14. Pete also right around 14, and then on down the line. What will the campaigns do after tonight? What is, just logistically, where will they head? What does it look like? What do they do?
Yep. I was on the plane in 2008 when Mike Huckabee flew out of here after winning the Iowa caucuses. We left. It was 7 degrees in Des Moines. We landed in Manchester. It was 3 degrees. That was not a fun night for me. I don't remember if I had the right kind of coat. But yeah, one fun thing to do about midnight, maybe 1 a.m. over here, check out some flight radar systems and you will softwares, things like that, and you'll see a whole bunch of direct flights from Des Moines to Manchester, DSM to MHP. They're all going to get on their private jet so that they can be there first thing in the morning when the sun comes up in New Hampshire, because the whole battleground shifts from here to New Hampshire.
There we go. And Reed, final question for you. Any indications on turnout? We were expecting, I think you said, if it hit the 300,000 number, that's when we knew that things were really real and that there was a historic turnout. I think they were prepared for around 250,000. Maybe anything that you can share with us for that, what that number is. I know we don't have any final tally right yet.
Yeah, no. So remember, the highest ever turnout among Iowa Democrats was 239,000 back in 2008. The party was preparing for a mammoth turnout this year, given the excitement and the number of campaigns that are working to turn people out. We saw a tweet a couple of hours ago from Sean Bagnuski. He's the chairman of the Polk County Democrats here in Des Moines. He said they prepared for mammoth turnouts, and they're already running out of new voter registration cards and things like that. So they were making photocopies as furiously as possible just to get them out to those precincts where supplies are running low.
Got it.
Very interesting.
Thank you, Reed.
Thank you. You're the best. We appreciate it.
You got it. See you guys.
All right.
All right. We are now going to bring in another friend of the show who's got all kinds of deep knowledge of Iowa and all these numbers. Kyle Kondik of Luke Sabato's Crystal Ball. Yeah, well,
I know, Kyle. What's
going on?
We wanted a lot more numbers for you.
So apparently the results 4 years ago came out a lot faster than they've come out tonight. Now, it sort of makes sense because really in 2016, you only had 2 legitimate viable candidates, and Clinton and Sanders was very close in many of these precincts. Here you've got all these different candidates. You've got a lot of people having to make difficult choices, people like supporting people like Andrew Yang or Michael Bennett or whoever deciding, or even supporters of the Big Five candidates who don't become viable and then they have to go somewhere else. So there's just a lot going on here, and I think we also see how kind of messy the caucus process is, and sometimes with elections, and I think specifically kind of antiquated ones like caucuses, the closer you look at it and the closer the results are, the worse it actually looks in terms of the process. And boy, I do wonder if we could really be seeing a change next time, because we're still early in the evening here.
Right.
We don't know exactly how this is all going to shake out, but really not that many results to look at. The stuff from the entrance polls, which are going to get weighted differently once the results actually come out. Sort of a predictable story. Sanders doing great with young people, Biden doing better with older people. There's not a huge age disparity for, say, like Elizabeth Warren, and that's been true in a lot of the polls. So in some sense, the results have kind of helped confirm what we were sort of already thinking about the race. But in terms of the actual outcome, it looks like something of a muddle. I mean, I guess the one thing that's sort of come out is it seems like Buttigieg is maybe doing a little bit better than the polls that indicated. Sanders seems strong, like we expected. But again, just kind of a muddle.
Just to give you how different it is this time around. In 2016, at this time, 85% of precincts were reporting the results by 10:30. Right now, we have 2% that are right there.
Strong 2%.
Right, yeah, very strong.
But Kyle,
strong
actually
two.
put that in perspective, because when you have so little to go on, you tend to read too much into the results, right? How much should we be counting on these results at 2% to hold up over that? I know it's a very easy question, but I just want people to have their expectations.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't necessarily expect anything to really stay the same as it is. And one thing that I think some people were realizing is we kept getting these anecdotal reports from reporters and embeds at these various caucus sites, is that there are a lot of people in Des Moines, a lot of people on college campuses, not necessarily a lot of people reporting from kind of more rural counties, sort of outlying, outside of Des Moines and Iowa City and other places in the state, college campuses. And so are there differences in who's doing well in the rural areas? I would suspect that there would be differences.
So Kyle, actually, can we throw up the map of Iowa? It has the different regions. I want you to be able to maybe take the viewers through a little bit of this. I did some research into the historical trends. So there you go. So we've got, generally there. Take us a little bit into the Davenport area. I know that is where Bernie Sanders, that's kind of the industrial area that he's did particularly well in 2016. And then just take people through the map here on what they need to see if we ever get any numbers tonight.
So obviously this is, Democratic caucus, so different deal. But Northwest Iowa is pretty religious, pretty conservative. Generally speaking. Eastern Iowa, places like you mentioned Davenport, that's more sort of industrial. And also you saw a lot of like Obama to Trump voters in that part of the state. The first and second congressional districts, which are the two eastern districts, those were both ones that were pretty strong for Obama in 2012, flipped to Trump in 2016. So, we always talk about kind of white working class voters, white voters who don't have a 4-year degree. A lot of voters like that all across Iowa, but I'd say particularly in that eastern part of the state, which again is sort of emblematic of the kinds of places that are trending Republican these days. I know that this is a Democratic caucus, so it's different. It's a little bit different story. Iowa City, obviously you'd expect Sanders maybe would have his best performance there because that's where the University of Iowa is. Ames, directly north of Des Moines, that's where Iowa State is, and another college town, although probably not as obviously like kind of far left liberal as maybe Iowa City is. If you're looking for suburban places, obviously you'd look around
Polk County,
Des Moines, exactly. Yeah, Des Moines and West Des Moines. And again, I feel like if you're just on Twitter, like I've been just trying to track this, you're seeing a lot of reports from again, college campuses, County, urban areas. And again, that's fine, and there are more people in those places. Although it's also important to note that for complicated reasons, even some places that have higher turnout don't necessarily get more of the state level delegates.
That's another thing I wanted to get in with you, which is there's actually, I know, quite a bit of jawboning in Iowa because they get very upset because they say that, well, even in higher turnout areas, they don't give the same amount of delegates relative to the rural areas. And as I understand it, in that some of the more, north central Iowa and that is where Biden really could be having some good nights. And that is where the caucus, the delegate math in particular, can go up.
And look, if you're just trying to say, if you wanted to, we got all these polls of Iowa, and you wanted to say, hey, which polls did the best? You probably would use that first tally, just the overall support before anyone realigns, you know, so because then you're picking up the candidates who didn't meet the 15% threshold, et cetera. But in terms of the actual, you know, delegate results, obviously the delegates are what's important, but there's also that you guys have been talking about the narrative that comes out of this.
That's important.
It may be that the sort of first round of results is a better sense as to what actual popular support for these candidates were amongst the actual people showing up at
and
these
look,
events.
again, guys, this is less than 2% reporting. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But I will say, based on the first alignment numbers, it actually pretty closely lines up with the Des Moines Register poll that didn't get released but got leaked. It's actually pretty close to those numbers, which is interesting and has that order in terms of the first alignment. But again, it's 2%, so don't read anything really into that. Kyle, what is the normal historic bump that a candidate can see if they do win Iowa?
You know, there's sometimes is a bump, although, to be honest, I kind of wonder about whether we'll see that this time, just because, you know, Sanders is already polling pretty well in New Hampshire. It's sort of a home state for him.
Right.
And, you know, is this going to materially impact, say, Nevada and South Carolina down the line when you have really a different kind of electorate, certainly a much more diverse electorate, and South Carolina is going to be a majority African American. The other thing, and you all were talking about this with Reed, is that, you know, we got to say the Union tomorrow night. We don't.
All right, so I cut off that guy because I'm tired of listening to that. I'm going to give you a quick update from, who did we get? David Schuster? Right?
Oh, of course I clicked out of it. Hold on.
That's all right. I got to get the tweets off the screen anyway. There we go. So it sounds like, I'm just going to summarize here, what they're trying to not really say on Hill TV right now is that from all indications show that it is a Bernie caucus, right? Iowa's just for Bernie, very strong, and we're just waiting for the results to come in. The Democratic Party is obviously not happy about this. The Democratic Party is obviously doing something to delay. How much of the app issue is really true and is delay, I don't know. How much of this, the new card system that they have and the counting the things.
Yeah, no, the way you game a caucus is you make it take a long time on a Monday night in the middle of winter.
Right.
And they will count and recount and recount and recount until people just give up and go home.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, you know, and then yeah. Anyway, so that's what they're trying to do. That's old school tactics.
Yeah. It's not going to work.
No.
We went through this last time.
Yeah.
We have people watching, right?
Yeah.
We
It's
know,
a recap of all the golden oldies.
And I will say that this is one of the things that makes a caucus. Here's the funny thing. You either get to listen to the Hill vamp or us vamp. Everybody's vamping until we get a show. I figured at this point we give them a break, and you get to listen to us for a moment here. But a caucus, this is why caucuses are maybe more valuable than a primary, because they're there.
Yeah.
And they could be like, no, I remember it was 200 for Bernie and 5 for everybody else.
Yeah.
So
well,
fuck you all with your numbers.
It's all on video and it's all recorded on these, you know, very tight apps. So all the shenanigans they went with the coin tosses at the end of Iowa in 2016, which went, you know, amazingly for Hillary. I mean, he won Iowa back then.
Yes.
Although, albeit with only 2 opponents, but still, it was.
Right.
That was it.
Yes, Melissa, they are reporting that they're running out of registration forms. They printed thousands of forms. I would say here, we were the canvassing yesterday. There were 3 or 4 crossover ballots that were turned into the canvassers and 1 brand new registration form. That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's huge. Even the lead data captains, Bennett and Mia, were surprised. They were like, holy shit. Gina. Whoops, I'm getting her and Mia mixed up. There's a lot of people. Anyway, there's a lot of people. Seriously, there's a lot of people. We met a whole bunch of, I didn't think I was going to get any new interviews yesterday. I've still got like 5 or 6 interviews to push out. I interviewed everybody who canvassed. What it was like, you know, what kind of people did they meet? Was it scary? It's just amazing. There were not this many people last time.
Nope.
I'm so excited, and I think a lot of them are just like Terry Brooks. They were not old enough to vote, right under the age, and they were like, fuck, and now they're here.
Or they were late to the game and didn't get to be part of the ramp up that is such a part of, you know, feeling the burn.
It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. So we're just everybody's waiting. I don't know if you heard them. There's a statistic that they mentioned before, but this by 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 85% of precincts had reported in. It was done. And here we are with 2% having reported, and it is, I don't even know what the hell time it is. It's 10:30. 2%.
9:30. They're only 2 hours ahead.
Are they only 2 hours?
Oh,
ahead?
but you said you specified Eastern. It is.
Yeah, I think they specified it. So basically, yeah.
It's 10:30 Eastern.
Right. Yes, Melissa H. Bernie did bring out a record number of caucus goers. Many were not from. Many we bussed in, or hitchhiked in, or they caravanned in. But that's true. I mean, we know so many people that left here. So there's reporting. What is that? Warren at
Final alignment.
21%.
Is that all we get?
I don't know. That's it. They're teasing us with graphics. We don't have any good graphics.
I know, we don't. And why am I so pale? I'm all bright.
I don't know.
We're sitting next to each other. Why are you all shadowy and me all bright?
That's because the lighting is not. We got to fix the lighting. You're right. Wow, you're really super pale. Let's do color correction on you on the live show. Why not?
That'd be nice. I look like I feel terrible.
Is that any better?
No.
No.
Go
Shoot.
sleep.
I know you are.
I'm just going to say I look tired.
I don't know what the deal is. I got to change your hue, but if I do that live, I could make you weird colors.
That's okay. It's not that big a deal.
Doesn't seem to be doing anything anyway. There's more red. That's the wrong way. I don't know. Well, now you're 11. Okay, I can't fix it live.
Yeah.
See, isn't this better vamping than whatever she's talking about? Probably not. Probably not. Archie Bunker voters? He's talking about Terry Frost. Biden's encouraging his voters to vote for somebody else.
Yeah. So
I'm
they
happy
are.
with that.
And that's confusing people.
It is.
So there's confused people there.
You have to be, if you are saying, well, I'm either Bernie or Biden. How could you possibly be for both? I don't get that. You misunderstand all of politics if you are okay with either of those two choices, right? There's nobody in our group here who's like, well, if Biden's that's a great question. So Biden wins by some crazy reason, and those of you that haven't just decided to try to leave the planet by your own means, do you vote for Biden as the D? No.
Nah.
No. No. Oh, look, we're getting Warren moments. Oh, this is PBS NewsHour. They're really vamping now. They're cutting to old footage. This is bad. This is bad. Oh, there's Nina Turner. That's her Nina.
Champion is Senator Bernard Sanders. The only people on this stage who have won every single election that they've been in are the women. Amy,
it just looks like,
the Affordable Care Act right now is 10 points more popular than the president of the United States.
Okay, that's just a montage. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Caucuses generally aren't very. We usually. I remember when we did this before, we had more footage from other caucus places. You guys want to see a trip? Go find Bernie 2016. It's on this channel. Our 2016 coverage of this event, which was on February 1st, and
I dropped it earlier, but that was a long time ago.
Link.
We can put the link in the description.
Yeah, we should put it there.
Compare, contrast.
I had we had 36,000 viewers on that one. Not all at one time, but we had quite a bit.
You look pretty much the same, a little less gray.
I look way different. I looked much younger in my view. I think I look like I've been hit by a truck now. And I have been. Like, oh my God, our democracy sucks. Planet's on fire. Things suck. John in mood lighting, Laura in office lighting.
Heck.
You really don't want me to sit here and fix it.
Yeah. You don't want to do that to me.
How do you feel about a potential Pete?
Goodness, sorry, I didn't mean to blast you with her asking questions. Sorry about that. They've moved on to another subject. What are we saying here? No, you don't want to hear Warren's voice. I don't like her voice either. I find it very annoying.
Oh, I know.
If we had to pick a candidate based on just how we liked the way they sounded, I would still go Bernie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe
Or flap her
Marianne
arms
Williamson, just she's very soothing, right? But I would fall asleep. She'd be like,
Oh, Brian
So-
says we both look beautiful. Oh,
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Brian. It's been a long day.
Yes, it has been. It has
We had to
been,
do what
actually.
we had to do our quarterly presentation to the entire company today.
That's right. She's my boss. She's my boss, and today was the Q1. What was it? Q1. No,
Our Q1
Q4
20
review,
Q-
but it was the
Yeah, Q1 2020 all hands meeting.
right Q1 2020 all hands.
This only
meeting.
happens once a quarter where the entire company comes together. All the techs come in from out in the field, and all the salesmen come in, and we get.
It's
to,
not a big. It's like 34 people.
Yeah.
It's not huge, but it's it's big for us.
We had good stuff to report, so
We
it was
did.
cool.
We keep our jobs.
And then we left early so that we could do the show. So
Right.
there you go.
That affords us to be able to do this, which is cool.
Yeah.
Notice I'm no longer in a bar.
hmm
Right.
No flies.
No flies.
Or very few.
The only flies we're going to see this year are on Ted Cruz's face, and hopefully we won't see Ted Cruz's
Well,
face
because he's got a
anywhere
beard.
near the
Because
politics.
he's got a beard now, and the flies could hide in that.
He just gave him a home.
Aw,
That's why the beard.
it.
Aw,
Home for
Ted.
flies. Boogers.
Home for flies. That's nice.
Yuck.
Yeah, that was gross. Why did we go there?
It's late.
It is
Tired.
late. Still waiting for results. I feel like I should leave the Hill and go somewhere else, but they don't have any results either. I'm waiting for them to throw a new graphic up. You're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Right.
Shiny
But this
outfit.
is just punditry. This
Well,
is.
let me check Twitter.
We got nothing going on. We got nothing to say, nothing to do. You're welcome, Kendra. How are you doing? Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I didn't really, I'll be honest, I didn't really feel like it was worth doing other than to say hi to everybody. It's not like we're getting massive views here. How many people are watching right now? 56, 58? That's
Hey,
cool. I mean, that's
remarkably
great.
resilient crowd considering we just vamped
know.
out to have dinner.
Yeah, I know. we
starving,
left you with
sorry.
Crystal Ball and
Hey,
the-
with Crystal Ball, that was a nice thing to leave people with.
that is cool. We have that to leave you with, because I never liked running the Young Turks material, so I just never liked their format. This is okay, and we can cut in and out and pick up wherever they are. It doesn't really matter what they're talking about. They're just going on and on about shit until we see some truth, right? I mean, that's really all it is. But yeah, thank you all for sticking in here and being here.
Okay, I've got some results in Twitter.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is not brand new results, but the final count from the Muslim Community Organization, one of the 5 mosques
Nancy.
serving as a caucus site for the first time in the history of Iowa caucuses. Standard 115, Yang 2, no viability. Buttigieg 2, no viability. Warren 1, everyone else 0. Ames precinct number 3, first alignment. Oh, we don't want first alignments. We want final alignments. I don't want to waste time.
I don't remember all this about the alignment thing
I don't either.
before. This whole new. I don't remember that bullshit. They didn't even talk about that before.
I thought they called it like the first count, or something like
Maybe.
that.
I know that if I'd said the word alignment so many times in a broadcast, I would remember. And
Yeah.
we didn't.
No, you weren't talking about that.
No. Density. Density dropped a clip. I saw. I don't know what you're talking about. I saw a clip. July 30th, 2015. An apology to Native Americans. Nice job, John. Rain in my shoes. Left a great comment. Nice. That is great. I'll have to look at it. Yeah, we really. The apology was because we really fucked up a big a broadcast with a guy, and now I'm not going to remember his name. I probably said it in the apology, but
The guy at Bernie Stock?
no, this was a Native American, and he was. We were supposed to interview him, and the person who was supposed to interview him couldn't interview him, and we ended up with this other person who was really gracious. He was a comedian, but he was a comedian, and he knew nothing about the situation, nothing about the gentleman, and it just was like I was an idiot, and said, "Oh, you're going to do it anyway," and I didn't give him enough background information, and that was one of my poorest decisions ever, and it was just a disaster live broadcast, and that can happen. And back then it was like crazy because we had a lot of people watching our show, so yeah. Anyway. It's either that or it was just an apology because I made an apology. I did up a lot of apologies back then. kind of like a, when you're as an alcoholic, you go through and apologize to everybody and everything you touched during your alcoholic funness. So, kind of something like that.
Okay, so here's an interesting one.
Blaming Russia for the delay.
Des Moines. Okay, here's a shenanigans. Des Moines Precinct 80. Bernie's group had 101 people. Pete's group had 66 people. Bernie and Pete ended up tied at 4 delegates following a coin toss.
Oh, we're with the coin toss bullshit again. Remember the coin toss bullshit? Here we go. Wow.
That's weird. A coin toss. That's good, Laura.
That works.
Sounds nasty.
So these counts. This is how they're screwing us. It's interesting. They're taking a long time to count, and then some of these are being resolved by coin flips. We remember the coin flip bullshit. I don't remember why they did the coin flip last time, or what happened. Is it just because
same
they ran
reason?
Out of time? Yeah, it's just crap.
Uppity Bernie was getting too many votes. This is just in. The Iowa Democratic Party tells MSNBC it is currently doing quote quality control on the Iowa caucuses, and they don't have an ETA on the results.
Because they don't want to tell everybody that Bernie won.
Yeah, they don't want to tell. The one I saw, the kind of a funny one, was they're going to announce, like at 6:23 tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow's the State of the Union address. So it's all going to be all Trump all day long. The State of the Union address. So it will be Bernie, and it'll be announced in the middle of the night.
The whole idea is to deflate the movement. Is to say you won, but we're not going to give you any fucking credit for it.
And we're going to make all your followers suffer.
Yeah.
In the meantime.
So this will backfire more on them, because more people that are older hopefully will recognize the bias. It really hasn't worked for them so far, and but this is what they're going to do. This is why we have to control the narrative, and you can't control the narrative if you don't own any of the stations that broadcast the narrative. Yeah. Right? And we don't have millions of dollars to buy Sinclair stations, but we can raise $10,000 to build an FM radio station that can reach other FM radio stations and syndicate content across the country to rural areas. That is something we are trying to do. It's a GoFundMe. If you go there, Cork FM, look it up. It would really help us. You can donate here through Super Chat as well. But our goal is to build a radio station. We've got a license from Veterans for Peace.
You can stream it from your computer or from your phone.
Yep.
That it will be that type of thing.
Yeah, it's a modern station with an older feel. Back when radio was not just going to Spotify or your favorite streaming service. So, but it will be streamable. Wait, we have results here. Let's see what we got here.
What?
President, final alignment, Dem final caucus. I don't remember where this is. This is 31 of 1,765 precincts reporting, and isn't this old? No, this is the latest news. So this shows Pete at 27, and Sanders at 26, and Warren at 20, and Biden at 13. Biden's way down there, way down there. Only 36% reporting. Right. Let's hear what the Hill has to say about it.
All of our panel. I'm beginning it now. It's starting now. We are back with friends of the show, Michael Brooks, and our panel, Democratic strategist Andrew Feldman, Maximilian Alvarez, host of the Working People's Podcast, Rachel Bovard, she's Senior Director of Policy at the Conservative Partnership Institute. You know, guys, we had this thing all planned so that we could all break down the results because we were supposed to know, but now there's quality control issues, and I want to reiterate the last statement. I read this right before the break from the Iowa Democratic Party is that the integrity of the results are paramount. We've experienced a delay in results due to quality checks and the fact that it's reporting out 3 data sets for the very first time. What we know right now is 25% of precincts have reported, and early data indicates turnout is on pace for 2016, Andrew. So one thing we know is this is kind of a disaster for the Iowa Democratic Party.
They're not.
They are not having a very good night over there. What are you hearing from maybe some of your inside context about what the hell is going on?
It's a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it's a mess. I'm hearing that people want to file their stories. They don't know what the hell to do. I mean, it's like
everyone's pissed off, including me.
No, but this,
We're trying to get to bed here.
No, but,
I'm tired.
Got a morning show.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I would like some rest.
but this is.
I have yoga in the morning.
Right.
Max, let me Max, let me talk to you about this. So I got some numbers from the Bernie campaign, from the Satellite Caucus for Spanish speakers in Muscatine, Iowa. Is that how you say that right? It was Bernie 17, Pete 5, Yang 2, Biden 1. No other candidate had any supporters. That's total number of supporters. So Sanders overwhelmingly outperforming there. And look, this is one sample caucus site. But I do think it meshes with what we saw earlier with the workers, the mostly immigrant workers from the pork processing plant who caucused for Sanders. It seems like their approach of reaching out to communities that don't normally have organizers come into them, don't normally get that kind of contact, is paying some dividends here tonight that we can see.
I think it is. And I mean, I think on the other side, you have seen how it has benefited Bernie's candidacy itself, right? I mean, like when you reach out to these demographics, these communities, right? When you go knocking on people's doors, when you stand outside of the meatpacking plant at the middle of the night, right? You are hearing stories from people who are struggling in this country, and then you are telling everybody that you know that we need to address these things. And I think that, you know, one thing that's been really impressive about Bernie Sanders' campaign is that sort of feedback loop between the just like incredible ground game, all the people texting, all the people canvassing, and the way that the information and the stories that they are kind of coming into contact with, the people who they're talking to, that gets filtered up. Right. People listen to that,
so,
right?
Yeah. One thing I want to highlight for the panel here is that what people are highlighting is that they said that turnout is on pace for 2016, Rachel. So that actually means that turnout is quite low. Only 172,000 turned out at that time. And we were actually expecting numbers in the 250,000 range to surpass the 2008 Iowa caucuses. So if turnout is low, that's actually not great for some of the more insurgent candidates, maybe like an Andrew Yang.
On turnout?
That's true. Maybe we can't trust anything that's coming from these people. That's the new hanging Chad. But let's say it is true. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, wasn't this app developed by Robbie Mook?
Yes, yeah, there you go. I heard about this. Yes, yes, yeah. He screwed us again.
Why is Robbie Mook not locked in a pyramid?
Yeah, right. Well, that is
metaphorically.
But to that note, you know, I do think this who you are seeing turnout is going to tell us a story, right? Because I think we've talked a lot about sort of the class narrative, but also the age narrative, and I think that's going to break down with kind of who turns out, because you really do have this boomer. You don't think so?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm shaking my head in the control room. You're asking me a question. Ignore me over here.
Everything is like, I can't trust anything right now.
Yes.
But no, you have like a boomer versus Gen Z narrative, right? With Bernie really speaking to the college students, and you have this wine cave boomer demographic going for the Buttigieg Biden, and then the class narrative. And I do think that is going to trend into the general, right? This is the story of the modern Democratic Party, and it's the story of modern America.
So here's a fascinating thing: the caucus secretary for one of the precincts has been on the hold for over an hour, and they have 6 delegates. They can't even get through to the main thing, and this
you know what's interesting about this?
Go ahead.
This feeds at least a lot of people in the Sanders coalition, like setting aside making it conspiratorial or anything like that.
Right.
This is a living enactment of the failure of institutions that his coalition is running against and experiencing on a daily basis.
Personally, I think it's the Russian bots. That must be what's going on.
Well, that would be what the wine cake contingent
right.
would definitely think. But my question for them is, why is Pete overperforming then?
That's right.
That's what we really have. What is the Russian?
Their wine cake
question.
The bots are in the wine cake.
What is the Russian connection?
The bots are inside.
The bots, yes, it's coming.
This is what happens when you have to talk for 2 hours and you have no information. You begin to lose your mind.
Andrew, question for you, because you have a lot of contacts in Warren world. What are you hearing from them tonight? How do they feel about their...
I just want to sympathize with that guy who just said this is what happens when you talk for 2 hours and you have no information. We used to do that. Oh my gosh, we used to have to do that. And now we're letting
someone else talk for us for a while.
Yeah, sorry, I had you off. Yeah, now we let somebody talk, like Laura said, now we let somebody else do it. But I'm going to keep it off while we watch Warren and walk on stage.
I hate her wave.
No.
Don't let me ever wave like that.
That's right.
God.
That's right. Yes, Osama, number 5, the New York Times lies. Says they're a corporate paper. Hey, Lori, good to hear that you're a boomer for Bernie. Oh, look at that. Orange, that's lovely. Lovely footage. All right, let's get out of this. There's her percentage. 2% reporting at that point. We got nothing, folks.
Got nothing.
Got nothing.
No, they're going to drag this out. Everybody's going to go home. They'll have some attrition in the caucuses because people will go home and they'll say, "Oh well, they went home." Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. Did you just see that? What was that stat that just flew through? I was going to talk to you. I got to clear it out of the screen. Where'd it go? Get the tweeter off the screen. Somebody in a tweet earlier said in one of the caucuses there were more than 800 people, and there was a huge realignment. And Bernie they estimate at least 60% of that 800. So that's a good thing to say. And yes, you mentioned it in chat that Robbie Mook made the software. You can see So look at the strategy here. We don't have to outwardly be terrible. We can hire people that suck, let them suck, and then they'll...
And let the thing they do blow up and be, oh,
right.
God. And
right.
it's like...
And you can hear the narrative out of some of these people that are definitely not progressives on the show. And they're like, oh, it's just such a mess. The guy with the insiders, it's just such a mess. Mm-hmm. So they're painting this like, oh, well, it was just so terrible. We really don't have accuracy here. We're trying to be accurate. And they're just going to, this is how they're going to screw it for Bernie. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the way where they can say, if Bernie would have overwhelmingly taken the state and the delegates, now they can divvy them up more, hand a few of them off so they can prevent him from reaching a certain count? Is that even what's... We need a strategist. You and I don't know any of this crap anymore. Shit, we don't have Scott. Who wants to come on the show and actually know what they're talking about when it comes to these numbers?
We could have Alex come on. He could bring a spreadsheet. He's got it all down in his spreadsheet.
No.
He's figured it all out.
You know what he told me before we left work today? Alex is our boss, and he's a big burner, and he said he was not going to do any modeling. He was staying away from the modeling on this.
I've already seen one of his models.
He's got to be going insane right now because he's got nothing to work with.
Yes.
He was expecting to have data by now.
Yeah. But he's one.
Yeah.
No, but I think, this is one state, and we've got New Hampshire next week. And
Who are we saying Bernie Sanders won over here? Marshall Neal. Bernie Sanders, 1811. Warren, 1636. Buttigieg, 1532. Where are these numbers coming from?
Yeah. Sources, please.
He's in an early lead.
Yeah,
But-
they don't have any of the final numbers in.
Right. And we don't even have. I don't even know what percentage.
But that might be some. I mean, that's a number, and that's probably that's about
those are
right.
good. That's good. I'll take that number.
God, Biden last. Wow.
Good.
Wow.
Good. He's an embarrassment. He shouldn't
He
even be
is.
out there. I mean, the shit he's saying is just terrible.
It is.
And there's no reason for him to be in the race. So is this update? Is this new? This says 33 of 1765. This is the same numbers. These are the same numbers they keep showing.
Mm-hmm.
So. No, these are new. These are updated slightly. This is what. Okay, here we go. These are your numbers right here, Marshall. Those were the numbers right back there. Everybody catch that? Now I'm gonna scroll through here and find it. There. All right. So here. I'll make this big screen so everybody can know where we're at right now. Here we go. With 33 of 1,765 precincts reporting, which is not a lot, Sanders is in the lead currently now with 1,811. Warren with 1,636. Pete with 1,532. Amy with 724. Biden last. Seriously last.
That's as it should be.
That is.
Really, that's about as accurate a result as one could expect.
That's awesome.
I like
Yay!
that. Yeah. Yeah, because that really, yeah. There's no way Biden's a front runner. Everybody keeps saying Biden's a front runner. It's like, God, there's no way.
All right. Rising reported they are now using paper for the totals. And you're right. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Do you want to kick back? See what they have to say now? See? Anything new?
At Martha's Vineyard while they're campaigning against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And so this is another example. Oh, let's have an app. Let's do that. Maybe Uber can deliver the app results somehow through some type of cloud service.
Well, Michael, I
here we are.
see that Chris Matthews said Bernie was going to do well tonight because a caucus is like a meeting and socialists love meetings.
I have to
that
say,
seems
as a
like pretty great
socialist, I
analysis
hate
there.
meetings. But I will give Chris credit. I think he had a beer with a doc.
With the doc worker, right? Yeah. All right.
Let's throw out the numbers we do have. If we can go back to Bernie Sanders, who has the top amount at this point. This is the final alignment. I think Bernie was at 28. There he is. Then what do we have next? Warren, I believe, at 25, if memory serves.
22% I have in front of me.
25%. Okay. And then who do we have next up here? And again, 2% reporting, guys. It's nothing. Mayor Pete has...
Do you trust the graphic or the pundit?
Drum roll, please. At 2%.
It's coming.
There
it's
he is,
coming.
24%.
Gosh, I'm fast.
And then who do we have? Is it Klob that comes in next? Biden next.
They already showed him once before. They're cycling through it the second time. 11%.
Ouch.
But don't read too much into it because we don't know what's going on.
This going back to your point earlier, I mean, this is terrible for anyone that is looking to claim victory in the next days. Also, the whole narrative is going to be about this snafu and not about anyone who did well tonight or did terrible. I mean, it's all about the Iowa Democratic Party, and that's a great thing for Trump to be able to jump on and say
I think by the time we have numbers, we'll all talk about the numbers.
It's certainly possible. I am seeing, I will say, the Trump campaign is capitalizing on this, Rachel. I mean, it's pretty funny. They're all like, it's rigged, it's rigged.
They wouldn't be doing their job if they were.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if they weren't sowing discord in the DNC, I mean, I guess that is what they do here.
Didn't they have, who was Project Orca? Was that Mitt Romney?
Okay.
Republicans have had their own share of this.
Yeah, that's right.
Orca, oh man, that's a good draw from the archives.
That is a really good
project. And remember, it was so vaunted, and
I know.
this is an amazing
thing. So much money on this.
And then it just completely collapsed. It was like,
well, based on the feedback I'm getting, everybody is loving how much we're screwing around here because we have no information.
Basically, things will go as I want them to go.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
That's your bottom line prediction.
That's my bottom line prediction. I want to learn my Chris Matthews. Why can't I make up imaginary friends to prove my points?
It does look like, though, based on the polling, based on the anecdotal evidence, that one thing that seems to be panning out is that Biden does not seem to be performing up to expectations, Max. What do you think that means going forward? Who do you think his supporters may go to? Because honestly, people kind of tend to think of Bernie and Biden as these two totally separate camps. We know the reality is that Biden supporters choose Bernie Sanders as their top second choice. So his deterioration could ultimately benefit Sanders.
Right, and I think that what that tells you is something that we talked about on a previous segment when I was on this show, right, is that I genuinely think there is like a significant contingent of, Democratic centrists who are never going to see eye to eye with me and vice versa, feelings mutual. But I think there is a significant number of people, especially, older folks, whose main concern right now is beating Trump, right? And they have this sort of faith in the technocracy that Biden and the New Democrats embody, in the kind of firewall of deal making and strategy and intelligence that they, have just poured so much faith in over the years. And the more that you see Biden just deteriorating, live on camera, the more that you start to worry that if he gets on a debate stage with Trump, he's going to start sundowning and stripping off his clothes. Right. I think that you start to really wonder, this guy. Right. Who can beat Trump?
If Trump and Biden debate, the questions will be at the bottom of cello.
That's right. All right, so one last update before we go. As an FYI, Bernie's people have apparently planned for this. This is a fan of the show, tagged me in this. Develop their own app for logging the results, assuming the precinct captains are inputting information. So Bernie's camp actually might have more accurate numbers than than the DNC. Will they release those numbers? We don't know yet. But,
We don't know.
Okay.
Guys,
everybody stick with us,
We wish we would have
please.
had more
Yeah.
results to share with you now. We are going to take a break
Yes.
with our people, and hopefully if we get results anytime in the near future, we will come back
We will
up
come right back up.
and share them. So you guys go over to Amazon and buy our book. It's called The Populist Guide to 2020. Send us an email at crystalandsagar@gmail.com so we can send you your personalized video.
That's right.
May as well do the shameless plug since we're all here. Or go to Barnes
Especially
&
for the
Noble. That also
diehards who
works as
stuck
well.
around. Yeah.
We are so grateful for you guys hanging out with us. We will
Thank
come
you.
back if we get results in the near future.
Yeah, we have had so much fun. And thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We'll be back with more expert analysis maybe later and especially tomorrow. I can't wait for tomorrow's show. You guys know that's
Oh my
going to
gosh,
be
we'll
a
have
really,
it all
really fun
tomorrow.
one.
All right, thanks.
All right, that was very cool of them to do the vamping for us and let us know what's going on.
It says,
Really
they're
appreciate
going
it.
to take a break. I think maybe we will too.
Right. They're done because there's nothing else to do. And the Democratic Party has obviously said what they're going to do. And it really comes down to not allowing us to have any media attention for Bernie's win. Because that's all this is about, is saying, you know what, we're just going
Right.
to keep the lid on this. We're going to say we can't even count the
Right.
results. We're having problems. Tomorrow, what did you say? You said tomorrow?
Yeah,
they'll-
tomorrow they'll announce it sometime in the middle of the night, and then tomorrow will all be about Trump and the State of the Union address, and then we'll go into his acquittal vote day, and it'll just be it's petty, because what it sounds to me like is that they're trying to push through these recounts or different things,
Right.
and that Bernie's camp has got all has got the app with all the numbers in it. They're like, well, here's your numbers. You don't and
Right.
They can't. I'm sure there's just a whole lot of flustering going on and people being very difficult. So
Well,
I'm
and
really
we know that I know for a fact that the Bernie camp has an application that does this, and we know that they've got the data.
Mhm.
The precinct captains have recorded the
yeah,
data.
we've seen how the data works.
This
It's
was something that was
brilliant.
developed. We saw this get developed for 2018 because we saw how everybody got screwed back then. I remember them talking about the development of this stuff. So I
Yeah.
mean, it was already in the works. The Bernie campaign did not stop.
No, it never stopped. It
The
kept,
progressive
it
movement
kept
didn't
building
stop.
the perfect campaign.
Yes.
And surrogates and everything.
Yeah, and I think and we did the right thing. Everybody stopped donating to the DNC. We started donating directly to candidates.
Mhm.
The DNC has no funding. They did take $300,000 worth of Bloomberg's money, probably just to keep the lights on, probably to
Right.
pay Robbie Mook for
Right.
his shitty work.
Oh God.
Anyway,
what a mess. Yeah. To our friends out there who are going through the caucus and being done. I'm not saying any reports from anybody that I know that's there, so they're in the midst of it.
Right,
Because otherwise,
right,
we'd be hearing.
right.
And if any other candidate, if any of the other candidates was coming out clearly on top, we'd hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
If
If
Biden
anybody
were, or
else.
if Warren was, it would have been
Yep.
all hail, because we
Yep.
see how they're being pushed already.
Yep.
So that just tells you all you need to know.
It does. It
So
does.
with that, I think we're gonna call it a night and go to
We're gonna
bed.
get out of here. We're gonna run. We're gonna try to run this without any echo, which is always,
We'll
always
work on
good.
it.
And we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna run Makana. The fire is
Osama
ours.
number 5, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that. 270.
Grateful
you.
for you. As
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, you
everybody.
guys. It's been a tumultuous few months, and with a lot
It has
going
been.
on. And we've been, as I said before, really involved in our own ground game for our new community and our new job, which is part of. It's all blended together, and Shahid is nearby, and
Right.
so we've just been
Right.
doing our thing there, thinking that's the best use of the more limited time that we have now. But we've missed you guys a lot, and I would love to keep doing these returns, at least through California, through Super Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because by then it's pretty going to be much decided, I bet.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. I mean, so we're doing every other weekend. Yeah, absolutely.
But those are on Sundays.
Yeah, that's true.
So
We got time to do this.
Tuesdays,
Yeah.
Tuesdays and stuff. and some of them are on Saturdays. Their caucuses are on.
So
Saturdays.
if you guys are interested, want us to do this, we'll do it. We'll get a little better at it. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marshall Neal. Appreciate that. Revolutions are born of hope. $2. Thank you so much.
Well, the caucus is a tricky thing because it is such a nebulous about the results. So, we can watch, but they'll do the same thing with returns on primaries too, especially if the vote count is high.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting there
yeah.
watching the little Guardian map, waiting for the little Bernie to drive across and paint in his district. And
I remember when we covered the primary, Tim Canova versus Wasserman Schultz, and we watched buckets of ballots being left in places.
Yeah.
There was footage of ballots being left in trunks of cars, not delivered.
Oh, and that was California too. After Bernie,
so
millions of votes not even counted.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if it's a primary. They will find a way to rig it. They will find a way to screw us. We have to document. We have to be there.
That's why that's why they developed that app. They have got everybody around has got a phone with the same information on it. And it's powerful.
Yeah. Same. Love you guys. Julie,
Marshall, thank you.
Melissa, you bet.
Okay.
We're so glad for doing this. We will do more. We'll plan. And everybody, if you can, get out there and do something for a local candidate or for Bernie Sanders, whether that's donating $1 or going out and just talking to your neighbors, or if you can, canvas. Canvas is the #1 most powerful thing you can do. If you don't want to canvas, even if you don't want to actually be a canvasser, you can help the other canvassers. There's things you can do, like offer to host a headquarters for canvassers. That's something that's very important. Our boss did that. He offered the Etheric building for canvassers to come in on Sunday and use it for that purpose, and it's something that's very needed. You could be somebody that just supplies snacks. If you want to bake some stuff, bring them some cookies, because they all have to eat and they take stuff and go out on walks. So there's so many different things you can do. Work for a local candidate. They need people just in the back end working that machine. There are hundreds of thousands of people working the Bernie machine right now, and every local candidate we have needs the same, right? So if you can, get out there and do that for them. Make sure you're registered to vote, right? Make sure you're all registered to vote, and we're going to take this. So Laura picked this ending. It's Makana, the fire is ours, because it fits.
And it's a good visualization.
Yeah,
it's a good visual. Visualize yourself voting for Bernie. I've got my sample ballot. I'm going to mark it all up for Bernie.
There you go. I'm not done completely registering for California, and I have to send in my thing. I got my official. You got to mail it back to prove.
No, you got to get your driver's license.
I got to get my. Well, yeah, but not for the vote. I'm done with. I don't need that for. That's by mailing it back in. I can do it without the driver's license.
Oh.
That's why. You can't. If you live in California, you don't have a California driver's license or ID. You can still register to vote. You just have to prove you live there and sign a document and send it back, and that's all it is. And that's what I've done. So.
Right on.
I still have to get a driver's license, but that's more of a pain in the ass than registering to vote in California.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
It really is.
That's for a Saturday show.
Yes, that's nuts. So let us know in comments, or send us a note, info@uphillmedia.org. Let us know what you would like to see, because one of the reasons we stopped broadcasting was because we wanted to focus on Bernie and the things that mattered. We didn't want to just create shows for shows. So if there's something you want us to be doing or want us to see, let us know what it is. All right, and we'll talk. Oh,
wait, before we go, Oz, breaking, the Sanders campaign is consulting with their attorney. We have on video, they had said five what? In fact, they were going over the delegate selection, which meant you had to know how many there were there. I don't know what that means.
Sounds like there's some breach, and we knew they were going to try some fuckery. So I guess we'll have to find out what it is. We will not be coming back this evening to do that, because we've had a long-ass day, and we're going to take a break now. Tomorrow, though, we work from home. So I'm going to be up early anyway. And if I see shit's going on, we'll do a broadcast. We'll
wake me
talk
up
to everybody
too.
in the morning. I'll wake her up, and we'll come out here with
tea and then fuckery.
Yes, and then we'll talk about the results and find out what's going on, because that's what's
or celebration. Tea and celebration. I like that much
Hopefully
better.
Hopefully, will be tea and celebration
and gloating, and a little bit of gloating, and a lot of Schadenfreude, and
if nothing else, what they're going to try to do is make it so Sanders doesn't appear to be the runaway victor.
Right. They will degrade that as much as they can.
So I think that's what I'm hoping to find out. Brian just offered his house. That's awesome.
Wow.
So you have to get in touch with the Sanders campaign. So if you're not registered with the campaign,
Go to
Brian,
maps.berniesanders.com.
Yep.
And that's where you can sign up for an event or find an event near you.
Right.
I recommend finding an event near you and going to one of those first.
Right.
And then you see who the peeps are near
Right.
you.
Right.
And go from there.
And Brian, you know that Laura and I are in La Honda now, so if you want to talk about audio, you're going to have to do that with us through Slack. But yeah, do that. Go there and get the Burn app.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's like the first step.
Mhm.
Let them know that you're what you can do. That they get a lot of information from you out of that.
Mhm.
So, all right, we're going to bed.
Okay.
Or gonna chill, get out of here. You guys, goodbye. We'll see you in the morning. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your donations. Really appreciate it. And we're gonna make this happen. The radio station is gonna happen. We're gonna have a great time with that. It's gonna be so much fun because we will not get censored anymore. No more. All right, Makana, fire is ours. Bernie's gonna win.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I've been lied to, misled, built about what they said, lifted only to be let down. I've been taken for a ride, given power to decide, only to find out I was wrong. But I learned to tell the ones who fake it from the few who really fit to run. Just follow the money they've been taking, and the truth will shine like the sun. I'm so tired of lies now, babe. Don't wanna compromise, no way. And I feel the burn for someone who can't be bought. Too bad for man who's fought for the people of America. Agenda, who's the biggest spender, party personality. Soundbite, get it right, entertainer, mix a fight, pick the one who most looks like me. Don't speak of any real solutions, it's a shock appeal they're looking for. Don't criticize the institution, but I can't take it anymore. Aren't you tired of lies now, baby? It's time for us to rise, no more maybe. And I feel the burn for the truth to come across, to melt away the claws and reveal the motivations. And you'll feel the burn for integrity to lead. Focus on the needs of the people of America. Somebody's tugging at your heartstrings, saying what you want to hear, but they're just a pawn to the real king, playing upon your fear. The love of power is a puppet string, but can't control the love we bring. The fire is out, the hour is now, the tide is set to turn.